Greetings, everybody, and once again, welcome into historic Lawrence-Dumont Stadium in downtown Wichita, Kansas. It's time for Hutchinson Community College Baseball on the Blue Dragon Sports Network. This afternoon, the Dragons' season is on the line as they face an elimination game in the 2018 Region 6 Central District Baseball Tournament facing the Neosho County Panthers. Steve Carpenter with you. I'll be joined momentarily by Denny Steckline. The Blue Dragons, the only team yesterday, I guess that there's some redeeming fact to day one. Hutchinson was the only losing team to go all 9 innings yesterday. The other 3 games ended up run rule. But whether you lose by 1 or 10, you're still in the loser's bracket. Now Hutchinson facing the team that knocked him out of the 2017 Region 6 tournament in Neosho County. They delivered the second loss here in Wichita last year, and now the Blue Dragons look to avoid that this year. Starting pitchers in this one for the Blue Dragons will be sophomore Wyatt Divis. He's 4-1 with a 4.95 ERA, and Neosho County starter is Joe Todd, a right-hander, 4-3 with a 6.75 ERA. So I bring in Denny Steckline, who last night was busy with a bunch of Blue Dragons graduating up at the Sports Arena, but he gets to join in today. And you got to watch part of the game yesterday while you're preparing for that. Your thoughts heading into this one?
Well, Carp, first just want to touch on it was an amazing night at the Sports Arena. Hour and 45-minute commencement ceremony. And what a blessing to have air conditioning with it 90-some degrees outside, because 2 years ago, there would have been no air. And there were probably easily 5,000 people in the arena last night. Close to 500 graduates walked. Several hundred more graduated but didn't walk as part of it. But, elimination or sudden death is nothing new to this Blue Dragon team. It's a repeat of what we endured last weekend on Saturday and Sunday. And they showed great resolve coming out Saturday and really convincingly taking that game from Coffeyville and then taking it to the extreme as far as you can take it in Game 3 of that series on Sunday afternoon, walking it off in the bottom of the 9th to advance here to Wichita. So playing from behind or with adversity is something they're used to. One of the things we're going to have to see today, and if they want to advance in this tournament, is the bats are going to have to wake up, plain and simple. We were looking at some numbers before, and we ran, going back and looking at the last 9 games is where we started, which takes us back to the Redlands game after the Pratt series as a team hitting 278, which several points below regular season average. I think they're, closer to 320 during the season. If you take out the Redlands game, because the Redlands game is a little misleading, they scored 17 runs, had 16 hits. If you take that out of the equation and start it with the Seward series, that'd be right?
Yes.
So the last 8 games, that average drops from 278 to 258. So you take out one game, you lose 20 points in the batting average, and 258 is not going to get it done. Pitching has been exceptional at times. It's struggled at times, but the bats are going to have to wake up and not put us in a situation where we come up needing runs late in the game.
Even to further that point, the 4 postseason games, the 3 games against Coffeyville, and then yesterday against Cowley, the Blue Dragon team batting average is now at 219 for the postseason. So, our camera deck. So the lineups being announced, and the umpires are going through the meetings with Hutchinson head coach Ryan Schmidt and veteran Neosho County head coach Steve Murray. Let's go ahead and get to the starting lineups. Hutchinson will be the guest team in this one. They are the lower seed, and the number 8 overall seed. Neosho County is the number 5 overall seed. The Blue Dragons will lead off with center fielder Brock Schaefer. He'll be followed by second baseman Logan Sartori. Batting third will be the pitcher Wyatt Divis. If Divis comes out of the game, he'll revert to the designated hitter. Batting fourth will be the left fielder Bobby Morgenson. Batting fifth, shortstop Dylan Nedved. Zach Baxley, the first baseman, bats 6th. Batting 7th will be the right fielder, Julian Ripp. He had home run yesterday here. Scott Wolverton gets the start behind the plate for the Blue Dragons. He bats 8th, and Ryan Moritz is a starting third baseman, batting 9th. So the Blue Dragons lined up Schaefer, Sartori, Dibbis, Morgenson, Nedved, and Baxley, Ripp, Wolverton, and Moritz. And again, Wyatt Dibbis on the mound. For Neosho County, as they get ready to take the field, 40-19 overall. They dropped a 14-6 7-inning decision to Kansas City in the last game of the night last night. They'll line up like this very quickly. It'll be shortstop Cruz and Ronda leading off. Tanner Fox bats second and plays second base. Galen Del Torre, the third baseman, bats third. He'll be followed by the cleanup hitter, Nolan Beats. Batting fifth will be the left fielder, Aaron Mears. Designated hitter, Marcus McDaniel, bats sixth. The catcher is Brady Garrison. He bats seventh. First baseman, Joe Mondragon, bats eighth. And Kenton Richards, the right fielder, bats ninth. Right-hander Joe Todd, 4-3, 6.75 ERA, is your starting pitcher. More numbers on him in a moment. So the Panthers are Aranda, Fox, De La Torre, Beats, Mears, McDaniel, Garrison, Mondragon, and Richards. So we're actually going to get started a few minutes early, which is fine, which is not too bad at all. We've been pretty much on schedule this entire tournament. This is the first game that's ran behind yesterday's games. The first two games in combined time didn't last as long as the 28-24 NIAC game we had a few months ago at Hobart.
Those two games combined didn't last as long as the first 3 innings of the NIAC game.
That was a nutty game. We might touch on that. But first, let's get to the numbers on Joe Todd. He's a freshman right-hander, 4-3 record with 2 complete games and a 6.75 earned run average. 46 2/3 innings pitched for Todd, 66 hits allowed. He's given up 43 runs, 35 of those earned. Not a big strikeout pitcher, only 34 strikeouts in 46 innings and 18 walks. He has given up 3 home runs. He faces a Blue Dragon team that for the season, now through 57 games, hitting .319. But Denny gave you the numbers a little bit earlier on the Dragon bats being very silent right now. So the Dragons yesterday were really shut down, and that was one of those games, Denny. The Cali pitcher, Cole Larson, was just on top of his game. His movement was impressive, and that's just one of those games you tip your hat to him and say, great game.
Absolutely. You know, I think coming into that game, his ERA was south of 1. I think it was about a .88 ERA. So he gives up 1 run to us in 9 innings, and it raises his ERA. That says a lot about the season that young man's had.
So we're set to go. Brock Schaefer to lead it off. The winner advances. The loser calls the season over for 2018, and Brock Schaefer fouls one off at the plate to get things started. Brock Schaefer for the year, now hitting .328, 62 total hits, 5 home runs, 38 driven in, on base of .387.
Schaef's one of several Blue Dragons that'll call Hobart Detter home for one more summer, playing for the Hutchinson Monarchs.
Schaefer in the postseason, 3 for 17, a double, and 3 RBI, or 3 runs scored. That pitch outside, and it's 2-1 to Schaefer. One team's already gone home. That is the Colby Trojans. They lost an 8-5 decision this morning to Johnson County. Schaefer pulls that one foul, and now it's 2-2.
Well, Colby's going to, you know, you go back through a game and you really try to replay everything and what could we have done differently, and that error in the first inning that led to the grand slam with 2 outs was very costly.
Now the 2-2 from Todd. Schaefer stays alive and pulls it foul. The one thing the Dragons didn't get to do yesterday, and they've been really good at it, there's run-up pitch counts. And Larson, the pitcher from Cali, was just pounding the zone. Schaefer chases a high fastball and strikes out. That's how we get started on day number 2. So 1 away now for Logan Sartori. Sartori hitless in 3 trips yesterday. Logan now hitting .340 for the year with the team-high 70 hits, 9 home runs, 52 driven in. Sartori in the postseason, 5 for 15, a double and RBI, and 4 runs scored, and he takes outside ball 1. It is a humid day, 87 degrees at first pitch. Sartori hits a high chopper down the third base line, but it goes foul.
Blue Dragons starting off the game with yet another strikeout. That would be their 438th strikeout of the season, and that's a number that Coach Ryan Schmidt can't be too pleased with. Neosho really not far behind. They've struck out 381 times on the year.
The last four Blue Dragon teams, including this one, are the top four most strikeout teams in Blue Dragon history. This team sitting currently at number 2. Curveball for a strike. It's 1-2 to Sartori. This has been a high-risk, high-reward type offense. Not big for the small ball this year. They have executed at times, but this has been a big run or big inning type of team. Sartori lays off a breaking pitch that stays high, and it's 2-2. Blue Dragons with 80 home runs. That is third most in team history. Last year's team hit 91. That is the record. The pitch just misses inside. The Neosho County fans ooh and ah. But
we've got a great perspective up here, Carp, and it was a little bit inside, but that's one pitch that you see called a strike frequently during the course of a season. It's a great pitch by Todd.
Now 3-2 to Sartori. The pitch, high ball 4. Sartori took some close pitches, and he draws the one-out walk.
It's his 29th walk of the season, second most on the team, following only Bobby Morgenson.
Now here's Wyatt Divis. Divis had a hit in 3 trips yesterday. 328, or excuse me, a team-high 381 average of 61 hits, 15 home runs, 55 RBIs. He is up there in a few offensive career categories. Pitch taken high for ball 1. Divis right now with 123 hits. That's not even near the top 10 yet, but his 34 doubles are 5th. His 25 career home runs are 4th. 116 RBIs are 7th, and his 75 strikeouts are 8th. Shoots that one foul. Jamel Cervantes ducks out of the way. And it's 1-1 to the sophomore from Lincoln Northeast High School in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Something we see differently this week than we saw from Coffeyville. Coffeyville played Divis, had him shaded around to right, which was somewhat surprising, and Neosho's got him shaded to left, which is pretty typical of the way Wyatt hits the ball. He lives in left and left center field. You know that's when he's seeing the ball well and stroking it well.
Div takes a breaking pitch low. Logan Sartori over at first, a team-high 15 steals and 20 attempts. Dragons in the postseason are just 2 for 3, so they haven't ran much. The pitch at the knees for a strike, and it's 2-2 to Divis. Bobby Morgenson waits on deck. He's one of the Dragons really struggling in the postseason. Of course, he had the walk-off against Coffeyville in Game 3 last Sunday at Hobart Detter. It's a move to first. Nothing doing. Zion Bolin and Julian Ripp have the only stolen bases in 4 postseason games. Sartori yet to attempt a steal. Doesn't go here. Divis hits a high chopper to the left side. The third baseman, De La Torre, fields. Only play will be to first. And it's in time for out number 2. Moving up to second is Sartori, now with 2 outs.
It's an adjustment that certainly the Blue Dragons are going to have to make on this type of a surface with that ball being chopped into the turf. Double play was out of the equation immediately, but fielding-wise, they're also going to have to get it out of their hands in a hurry because people are going to be getting down the line and creating a lot of infield hit opportunities.
Now Bobby Morgenson, the sophomore from Omaha Creighton Prep High School in Omaha, obviously. Here's a shot up the middle. Coming on as the center fielder beats, and he makes the catch, and the inning is over. So Bobby hits it well. That's probably the hardest hit ball he's had this weekend. But the Dragons are turned away. They can't do anything with the one-out walk to Sartori. After a half inning, the Dragons nothing, and Neosho County coming up. So Wyatt Divis taking his warm-ups. The numbers on Big Div. He is a 4-1 record, making his 8th start of the year, 11th overall appearance. One complete game of 4.95 earned run average for Wyatt. He's now worked 40 innings. 37 hits allowed, 30 runs, 22 are earned. 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, 41 strikeouts to 19 walks, and opponents hitting .234 against. He has given up 8 home runs, but he gave up most of those when he was kind of battling some injuries early in the season. He's been much more effective, and through that 9-inning complete game masterpiece 1 week ago today against Coffeyville to even up that series.
Yeah, 9 innings, 4 hits, only 2 runs allowed, one of those coming late in the game in the 9th.
So Cruz Aranda leads it off for the Panthers, playing in his 57th game, .357 average, 7 home runs for Aranda, 44 RBIs.
That performance last weekend from Divis was really, it was just what the doctor ordered in terms of what head coach Ryan Schmidt was looking for. He could save every other pitcher for Sunday.
Aranda last night against Casey K was 1 for 4 with the run scored. He's down in the count to Divis here, 1-2. Big righty into the wind, the pitch. Curveball in on the hands, fouled into the stands. Only defensive change today for the Blue Dragons. Ryan Moritz playing at third with Wyatt Divis on the bump. Otherwise, it's Nedved at short, Sartori at second, Baxley at first. Scott Warburton might play. That's the other change. My apologies. 2-2 now. Morgenson in left field. Schaefer in center, and Julian Ripp in right. The Flying Dutchman, a home run here yesterday. Broke up the no-hit bid by Cole Larson. Slider just misses the outside corner, and the count runs full.
I have a trio of sophomores around the out and a quartet of freshmen around the infield. So something to look forward to next year as these young men coming back with a year of experience under their belt.
Swing and a miss, strike 3 on a full count pitch. Aranda goes down, 1 out here in the bottom of the first for second baseman Tanner Fox. Fox 0 for 4 last night. He is hitting, find his numbers here real quick, .353, 2 home runs, 40 RBIs. This Neosho County team, a very good offense, .346 average, 69 home runs. Strike called from Divis, and it's 0-1 to Fox.
Carp, one of the beautiful things about this event and this venue is the support that the teams continue to get. Swing and a miss, 2 strikes now. From the past players.
Yes.
I look down here, and for the second day in a row, there's Brady Hoover and some other former Blue Dragons sitting down there by the dugout, here to support their past teammates and their alma mater.
Slider on 0-2, misses outside. That's a good miss by Divis. 1-2 now to Fox. I even saw Jake Bublitz at the softball tournament last week, which was in Topeka. So.
Well, that's a short drive for him.
Ground ball right side over a diving glove of Sartori and into right field. That'll be a base hit.
That might be Bub sitting down there with Hoove. I'm not really sure. He's got some growth on his chin, so that could be Jake.
Well, if that's the AARP section, it could be with those two.
That's true. That's true. They did get in today for the senior ticket price. I did check that out.
Now third baseman Caleb De La Torre. He had a hit last night. De La Torre hitting .359 for the year. Runner at first, 1 away. The pitch from Divis. Strike on the outside corner. Good location at the knees. De La Torre 70 total hits, 11 home runs, and 66 driven in. Some impressive offensive numbers. There's a high fly ball, left center field. Both Schaefer and Morgenson there at Schaefer in left center making the catch for out number 2. Now 2 away for center fielder Nolan Beats. Beats had one of the big hits 1 year ago that knocked Hutchinson out. It was a 2-run double when the Dragons were climbing back into it.
An impressive 17 home runs on the season for Beats.
Safe lead over at first by Fox. The pitch to Beats is an off-speed pitch that swung over the top and missed. We mentioned the 69 home runs. Not a big running team, Neosho County, just 33 out of 37. Cruiser Ronda was the team leader with 20. That pitch popped up in the infield right side. It's Logan Sartori camping under it, waiting for it. Has it, and the inning is over. So Dibbs gives up a one-out single and nothing more. And after one here in Wichita, it's the Dragons nothing and the Panthers nothing. No score through one. Steve Carpenter, Denny Steckline with you. Dylan Nedved, the freshman shortstop, will lead it off for the Blue Dragons. Dylan second on the team, hitting with a .354 average, 74 hits, 5 home runs, 33 RBIs. Takes outside ball one. Nedved in 4 postseason games, 3 for 15, no extra base hits, 1 RBI. The 1-0 was grounded through the left side for a base hit. The Dragons' first of the game, so don't have to worry about that. Hutchinson didn't get his first hit yesterday until the Julian Rip home run to lead off to 6th. So the leadoff man aboard for first baseman Zach Baxley. Bax doubled one of the 3 hits yesterday. Now third on the team with a .347 average, 50 hits, 13 doubles, 6 home runs, and 36 driven in. Zach, the team's leader in the postseason, now 5 for 12. That's a .417 average. Has yet to drive in a run, 3 doubles. He scored once, but that tells you right there, Denny, that Back's hitting out of the middle of the order as he fouls a pitch off. The Dragons just start setting him up to drive in a lot of runs.
No, they're not. They're not getting on base to give him those opportunities. And, you know, as we talked in the pregame, that's certainly something that's going to have to change. And, you know, it's encouraging, even though it's just the top of the second. Sartori got on with a walk, and now Nedved's on with a base hit. So if that top of the order can get some things rolling, good things can happen.
Nedved on the year, 6 steals and 7 attempts. The pitch. The bunt popped up, and Mondragon dives and makes the catch in foul territory. So the Dragons missing another opportunity to move a runner up.
And that is just going to turn the hairs gray on the top of Coach Schmidt's head. That's the second weekend in a row that a sacrifice bunt attempt has resulted in a pop-out.
Now sophomore right fielder Julian Rip, .305 average with 32 hits, 9 doubles, 9 home runs, 38 RBIs. Those 9 home runs are tied for third with Logan Sartori. Rip 2 for 12 in the postseason. Takes a breaking pitch inside for ball 1.
So happy for Rip. A few weeks ago when we were out in Dodge City, his family had come over from the Netherlands and caught a few games. And even though the game didn't go the way we wanted it, Julian launched a big home run.
It's a ground ball up to middle fielder by the shortstop. This could be 2. High throw, and he came off the bag, so the Dragons catch a break. Just a 6'4 fielder's choice. But the inning stays alive. Nedved retired on the force. Nice play by the shortstop, Aranda, who got it behind the bag and flipped to Fox, the second baseman. Now Scotty Warburton, the sophomore from Seward, Nebraska. Scotty's been battling all year with the bat after a really good freshman year. Scott hitting .258 with 17 hits, a home run, and 14 RBIs. Rip at first, 2 away. The pitch taken low, ball 1.
You know, the speed Rip has contributed undoubtedly to the hurried throw that they had to make to try to turn that double play.
In his career, Scott Warburton, 54 total hits, a .290 career hitter with the Blue Dragons. Over low, and it's 2-0 to Scott. Scott with 6 career home runs and 42 RBIs. Decent lead over at first by Rip. The pitch. Swung and fouled back. 2-1 the count. Neosho County was the 3rd seed out of the East, the 5th overall seed. Hutchinson, the 4th seed out of the West, the 8th overall seed. Home team is determined by the higher seed. Breaking pitch, a beauty from Todd, and it's a strike called 2-2.
You could almost say the playoffs started several weeks ago for Hutchinson because they knew they would be in, but there was a time going into that Seward series, I think we could fall anywhere from 2 through 5.
Yes.
And certainly did not want the 5. You want to host.
2-2. And Wolverton called out on strikes. Now do the Dragons in the second. No runs, a hit, 1 left. To the bottom of the second we go. There's no score.
Somebody else in Blue Dragon gear walking down here.
Welcome back, everybody. Steve Carpenter, Denny Steckline with you. No score through an inning and a half. Each team with 1 hit. Wyatt Divis will face 5, 6, and 7 in the Neosho County order. Aaron Mears, Marcus McDaniel, and Brady Garrison.
Turn it down.
Aaron Mears hitting .340 for the year, 2 home runs, 29 RBIs. He was hitless last night against KCK and takes a breaking pitch outside for ball 1. Ball 2. Kind of an asymmetrical look. It looks symmetrical here at Lawrence-Dumont Stadium, but there are a lot of little tricks out there in that outfield wall. Big cut and a miss by Mears, and it's 2-1. It is 330 down the left field line. Sound check. You getting me again? Really? That pitch misses, and it's ball 4. We're getting some audio issues, at least through the camera. Not sure what's going on there. So a leadoff walk to Mears, and I'll bring up the designated hitter, Marcus McDaniel. McDaniel hitting .306. No home runs, 12 RBIs, 26 hits, and 6 doubles.
We'll do some research on that. I've got a feeling we both know somebody who's tuned into this broadcast. Reach out to our good buddy Coach Knack, who's probably out washing his car for the 8th time this week.
Out of that crazy 2010 run here, where the Blue Dragons went to Grand Junction, when he said he washed his car 3 times in one game, that was one of the best stories, best residual stories I heard from that tournament from one of the fans.
Well, the amazing thing is that's not out of the ordinary for him either.
The pitch showing bunt, and McDaniel pulls back and takes high for a 1-1 count. Mears away from first. He led off the inning with a walk. The pitch from Divis. Bunt popped up. Wolverton finds it and gets to it with a basket catch, and there's one away. So both teams now 0 for 1, trying to move the runners up via the bunt.
Yeah, Neosho returns the favor of what the Blue Dragons experienced in the top half of this inning.
Here's Brady Garrison, the catcher, hitting in the 7 spot. The wind in the pitch. Right in there for a strike inside half at the knees. Garrison hitting .366 with 60 hits, 19 doubles, 6 home runs, 48 RBIs. Divis out of the stretch, the pitch. Nice slider for a strike, and it's 0-2. There is a bulldog mentality about Wyatt Divis that will help him in these situations. Div just doesn't back down. He comes set out of the stretch. Now the 0-2. Slice foul by Garrison, and he stays alive. Anything wrong with that pitch? Might have got a little too flush with the plate on 0-2.
Last Sunday when the Blue Dragons closed it out against Coffeyville, one of their nemesis was the leadoff batter. 7 of the 9 innings, the Red Ravens were able to get the leadoff hitter on, and to this point, Neosho is 1 for 2. So that's something the Dragons are going to need to solve to have the outcome that they would be looking for today.
If the Dragons would win, they would have to win 5 more, but in order to get to those games, you have to have this one.
Winner of this advances to Sunday morning, 10 a.m. first pitch.
Jam shot looped into right center field. On the run is Rip. He can't get to it. The outfield here have predominantly played deep, and there have been a lot more bleeders. So a little bloop single by Garrison, and the Panthers have the first 2 on to start the second. Now the batter is
sandwiched around the bunt, the failed bunt attempt, Carp. So there is one down.
Right. Thank you. Did I get that into the computer? Yeah, I did.
You know, Julian, you could see it in his eyes. There was part of him that wanted to lay out and try to knock that down in front of him. But with this turf, if he doesn't, there's probably 2 runs going to score for Neosho.
Pitch to Joe Mondragon, the first baseman. It's taken high for ball 1. Mondragon, 53 hits on the year, a .340 average, 8 home runs, and 49 RBIs. Divis's pitch, slice foul, 1-1. Neosho, usually one of the best offensive teams in the Jayhawk East, have normally run up a lot of runs in non-conference games and in conference games, but they've normally dominated their non-conference games. 1-1 to Mondragon, the pitch. Divis challenged him up and won it, and it's 1-2. Good fastball. Now at 85 from Divis. We can give you the speeds of the pitches. The speed gun is working on the scoreboard. It didn't do a very good job of that, watching that yesterday.
That is kind of a neat added benefit. I noticed in the top of the first, Joe Hood was upper 80, saw a couple at 88.
Divis taking his time, now delivers the 1-2, and Mondragon slices a foul off to the left. Coming up at 4 o'clock today, the winners bracket semifinals will be an all Jayhawk West first game between Seward County, maybe the hottest team in the tournament, and the Jayhawk West champion Barton Cougars. And tonight, the number 1 overall seed Cowley takes on KCK, who really put on a hitting display against this Neosho County team last evening. That was the longest game of the day at 2 hours and 23 minutes. 1-2 from Divis. Misses high and outside, 2-2. The first game, which was a run rule game in 6 innings, Seward County over Colby, that was 1 hour and 35 minutes. The second game, a 7-inning run rule by Barton over Johnson County, was 137. First to pitch from Divis, 2-2. Got him swinging, or is it a foul ball? Foul tipped. Mondragon stays alive. The Blue Dragons Cowley game went the duration 9 innings, but it was only 1 hour and 58 minutes. The first game of the day, the Colby-Johnson County game, the longest game of the tournament right now, 2 hours and 37 minutes. That's the 30-minute late start for this one. 2-2 to Mondragon. 2 on, 1 out here. Dragons could use a ground ball right at an infielder.
Or
strike 3. That was great location. That pitch froze Mondragon. Divis gets his second strikeout, and it's out number 2. So it's 2 on, 2 out for the 9-hole hitter, right fielder Kenton Richards. Richards had a couple of hits last night. Hitting .363 for the year, 6 home runs and 43 driven in. Coming out of your 9 slot. So Div can't let up here. Just because it's the 9-hole hitter. Richards hacks and fouls it off to the right. Got to see former Blue Dragon AD Randy Stang. He was here for the Johnson County game. Randy now the AD at Johnson County. Our current AD, Josh Gooch, hopefully getting some rest today after the golf tournament yesterday. Breaking pitch of beauty. Oh, misses low. Wow. Still a good-looking pitch, but it's 1-1. I didn't think there was any doubt about that catch in the knees.
What a great golf tournament yesterday. 32 teams at Cary Park Golf Course in Hutchinson. Big fundraiser for scholarships for our student athletes.
There's a strike, and it's 1-2. That pitch looked lower than the one before.
It didn't look near as good as the one before that.
Breaking ball at 74 miles per hour from Divis. 2 on, 2 out here in the bottom of the second. The pitch. Popped up. Could be playable for first baseman Zach Baxley. And he dropped it. That'll be charged an error for prolonging the time of at bat. A lot of people don't think so, and especially if there's an out recorded, but it is an error. So Richard stays alive with a 1-2 count. That was the 3rd error here in Wichita committed by the Blue Dragons. 7th in the postseason. Divis steps off the back.
Top half of the bracket was dominated by the East, the bottom half by the West, as far as the winners' games go, with Cowley, KCK, and Seward-Barton matchups.
When you went into yesterday, you looked at those brackets, you thought there were going to be 4 really good ball games, and really wasn't competitive at all.
No, it wasn't.
Here's the 1-2 from Divis. Got him swinging on a fastball, and the inning is over. So Neosho gets on by a leadoff walk on a 1-out single, but Wyatt Divis steps up and shuts him down. After 2, no score. 50s when he did it.
You see there's a big fast pitch thing coming to Hobart Detter?
Yeah, I have a funny feeling that the city's going to get me to PA that.
I don't know what date that is offhand, but if you need help with something, if they ask you and you need help, let me know.
I believe it's June 6th. Obviously, the Monarchs aren't at home.
Well, we assume that.
Yeah, no kidding. They might have scheduled Minneapolis and Chaparral to play there, too. No score through 2. Wyatt Divis coming up big in the bottom of the second. Had a couple runners on. And he gets a big strikeout, 2 strikeouts in the inning. And now we go to the third. The Dragons try to kickstart the offense. It'll be Ryan Moritz, Brock Schaefer, and Logan Sartori to face Joe Todd, who earlier Denny indicated throwing in the upper 80s. And we'll keep a track, a little closer track on that here this inning. Here's Ryan Moritz stepping in to lead it off. Ryan at 281, starting his 30th game, 27 hits, a home run, and 23 RBIs. Just 0 for 1 in the postseason. Takes high ball 1 to start the third. Going forward, unless Hutchinson plays Seward County, they're probably going to be the visiting team. There's a line shot to center field, and that's Hutchinson's second hit of the game, a leadoff single by Moritz.
Nice job of hitting there by Ryan. He just took that straight back up the box. And get the leadoff man here for Hutch and see if we can take advantage of that.
Now second time around the order, Brock Schaefer, a strikeout victim his first time.
Neosho thinking bunt, third baseman's in, I would say in on the grass, but we can't say that here, can we?
In the green portion of the infield.
Green portion of the carpet.
Grass. Shape showing bunt and takes ball 1. Brock Schaefer has a team-high 8 sacrifices. Each team has missed on a bunt opportunity. Zach Baxley popped up foul in foul territory in a diving catch by first baseman Joe Mondragon. Brock gets this one down. It's a good one. Barehanded field by the pitcher. And a throw to first in time. I think he was kicking himself for not going to second, but Moritz had a pretty good jump. So a 1-3 sacrifice, and the Dragons have a runner in scoring position.
A little bit of a risky play by Todd. He would have had plenty of time to get Schaefer, but that bare hand, if he doesn't field that cleanly with Schaefer's speed, that could be 2 men on with nobody out.
So Schaefer sacrifices for the 9th time. Now a runner in scoring position with less than 2 outs for second baseman Logan Sartori, who walked his first time. Todd's pitch, high chopper left side, deep in the hole. There won't be a play. Be an infield single for Sartori, and the Dragons have him on the corner with 1 out.
Brought back memories of a Willie Wilson infield single base hit, didn't it, Carp?
Yes, it did. So now Div gets a chance to help himself out on the mound. He's got a runner in scoring position at third base with 1 out.
And you're on the mound and you're the team's leading hitter. This is the type of situation you live for. Again, the center fielder slightly playing him towards left center, which is what we would expect.
Todd's pitch misses high ball 1. Bobby Morgenson waits on deck. Divis in the postseason now 4 for 50 and a couple of doubles, only 1 driven in. Hutchinson scored only 13 runs in their first 4 postseason games. Way under their season average. A ground ball up the middle. Nice stop by the shortstop, and this could be 2 and is. That was a great start by Aranda.
Tip of the hat to him for that play.
So the Dragons had a threat going, but Cruz Aranda to Tanner Fox to Joe Mondragon, a 6-4-3 inning-ending double play, and the Dragons are turned away in the third. Still no score after 2.5 here in Wichita. Well, Hutchinson's matched its hit total from yesterday in just 3 innings. But now they look to string some hits together once they get back up in the 4th. Neosho County coming up in the bottom of the 3rd, no score. What have you seen so far, Denny?
Well, I've seen us putting the bat on the ball, which is something that we talked about before the game that we needed to do. But we need to string some of those together. And, you know, Wyatt hit that ball sharply up the middle there in the top. But, you know, and here comes Aranda leading off this inning after turning that double play.
Aranda struck out his first time against Divis, and he takes a fastball at the knees to start this at bat.
Defensively, what we're seeing is the Wyatt Divis we saw last Saturday.
Fastball over but low. Count evens at 1-1.
Divis living around the plate, giving his defense a chance. Those big strikeouts to end the 2nd were huge.
Took a little something off. Actually, he did. It was an 87.
87.
Great movement on the back end, and it's 1-2. That's a good sign if it's moving that much on the back end. Rando fouls that one into the stands. One of the quirky things that I always loved about Lawrence-Dumont is you've got to be on your toes. Even when a foul ball is already over your head, it may come back and get you. It can bounce off the sky level here. This is a great old ballpark that's days are numbered. Curveball lifted to right field. Julian Rip to his right. He makes the catch, and there's one away here in the Neosho 3rd.
Yeah, I think that last foul ball ended up back barely, but on the playing surface right outside the Blue Dragon dugout. So you do have to be on your toes.
Here's Tanner Fox. Fox singled with 1 out in the 1st, and he was left there. Strike 1 from Wyatt Divis, outer half. The Region 6 box is box 6 up here, and they've already taken a few foul balls inside there over the first couple of days. 1-1 now to Fox.
When I was in the main control booth over there where you were doing the PA earlier, Carp, I expected to see some kind of plaque on that dent in the file cabinet or the storage cabinet. I was in the booth next to you last year when a foul ball came rocketing back, and I would say you were quick enough to move, but I don't think you saw it coming.
I heard it because it grazed my ear.
And nailed the cabinet right behind you.
That ball's lifted to center. Brock Schaefer retreats. Now comes in. He's got it, and there's 2 away. Fox now 1 for 2, and that'll bring up the 3rd baseman, Caleb De La Torre. He flew out to Morgenson to end the 1st inning. At the league meeting on Thursday night, I was talking with the Neosho County coaches. And it seems like every year the talk of 2010 comes up. There was a midweek game at Hobart Detter with these 2 teams. Pitch taken downstairs, and it's 2-0 to De La Torre. The wind that day was blowing out of the south about 50. Even Toby Cornejo hit one off the wall.
In the air, or did it bounce?
In the air. Hit off the base of the wall in right center field. And I made the comment that day that even Toby Cornejo was wall banging. Dragons won that game decisively. Ball 4, a 4-pitch walk with 2 outs to De La Torre. Second walk issued by Wyatt Divis, and that'll bring up the center fielder, Nolan Beats. Again, Beats 17 home runs on the year. The wind is blowing out to left, although looking at the flag, it has died all of a sudden.
It has laid down a little bit from first pitch. Flag was fairly stiff blowing out earlier, but it's really calmed down. What a gorgeous day, though, Carp.
We've been due for a couple of these. Divis out of the stretch, the pitch. Breaking pitch, nice stop by Scott Wolverton. De La Torre, shockingly, has not even attempted a stolen base this year. He hit leadoff last year for the Panthers. Over but low, and it's 2-0.
6 in a row outside the zone now for Wyatt.
Div needs to lock in here and shut this down with 2 outs. While not as pronounced this year, the Dragon pitcher is still having 2-out issues. last year's team that plagued that pitching staff. Pitch high and tight, and it's 3-0.
So he made quick work of the first two batters, got a couple of flyouts, and has really struggled since that point, in danger of walking his second consecutive on 4 straight.
Blue Dragon pitchers are allowing a .261 batting average with 2 outs. That mark was up right at 300 1 year ago. That was on a conference championship season. The cripples a strike, and that breaks the streak of pitches out of the zone at 7. The count 3-1 to Beats. You don't have to give in to him. He's got all that pop. You still can pitch around him. 3-1 pitch. Got him swinging. 87-mile-an-hour pitch on the outer half. So, again, late movement on that pitch. And Beats waved over the top of it. Now, Divis has run the count full 3-2. Delatorre will move on the pitch. 3-2, 2 out. Runner goes. The pitch is lifted to center field. Playable, though, for Brock Schaefer. Couple of steps to his right. Two-handed catch, and the inning is over. So Wyatt Divis again up to the challenge. No runs, no hits, 1 left. We're through 3 in Wichita. Dragons nothing and the Panthers nothing. Welcome back, everybody. We're through 3 here at Lawrence-Dumont Stadium. No score. It'll be Bobby Morgenson, Dylan Nedved, and Zach Baxley, 4, 5, and 6 here in the 4th to face pitcher Joe Todd. Dragons with 3 hits, Neosho County with 2 hits through the first 3. First pitch to Bobby is inside, ball 1. Bobby hit the daylights out of the ball, but right at center fielder Nolan Beats to end the first. Bobby way up there on the career charts on many offensive categories. We'll get to those after this pitch. Up high, 2-0. Right now, Bobby Morgenson is currently 5th all-time in hits with 150. He's already got the RBI record at 141. He's tied for the doubles record with Michael Hellman and Thad Weber. That's a shot. Hits the pitcher. High bounce off of him. And Morgenson safe at first on an infield single. And that's another pitcher who's been rocketed today.
Carp, how are you going to describe where that pitch struck Joe Todd?
Actually, I didn't see it quite. I was looking at my numbers, heard the bat and turned it. It was already up in the air. So I'll leave the description to you.
Yeah, I think the scientific term would be the gluteus maximus. Todd, on his delivery, had he wasn't totally facing home plate, and when Bob hit it, I think he kind of turned his back and was facing center, and it, hopefully for him, caught the fleshy part.
There's a bunt by Dylan Nedved that pops over the catcher. Break for the Dragons. Earlier today, we saw a Colby pitcher take a line drive off his left shoulder, and it landed 35 feet in left center field behind second base on the fly. Nedved up the middle, that's through for a hit. Morgenson will stop at second. Dragons have a couple on to start the 4th, both on pretty hard hit base hits.
Pretty hard hit, and both right back up the middle, which is exactly what you want to see out of your hitters. And you know what I like about Bob's 2 approaches so far, even though the first one was a line out to center, he's hit them hard and hit them right back up the box. And you just have to feel before this day's over that he's going to get one that's going to pay off big for the Blue Dragons.
So now Zach Baxley, he popped up on a bunt attempt. Showing bunt here, gets this one down. It's a good one. Fielded by the third baseman. The throw to first is wide, but the second baseman, Mondragon, or the first baseman, Mondragon, keeps it. No, that is the second baseman, Fox. So a 5-4 sacrifice. The Dragons execute the sacrifice on this occasion. Now it's Morgenson at third, Nedved at second for Julian Ripp.
You have to love the confidence head coach Ryan Schmidt shows in Zach on that after the failed bunt attempt in his first at bat, and they come up in a situation that just screams sacrifice bunt, and that's exactly what he asked him to do. And kudos to Zach. He sacrificed successfully and did his job.
Julian Ripp reached on a fielder's choice. He swings and misses at this Todd offering. His home run yesterday, dead center, just right of the 400 sign, about 15 feet up on the batter's eye. That broke up Cole Larson's no-hit bid, which went into the 6th inning. Up high, and it's 1-1 to Ripp. Ripp with runners in scoring position, hitting .385, 15 for 39, so pretty good at bat in this situation.
It's where you really want to see him put something in play. A strikeout is not what the Blue Dragons would need here with runners at second and third and one away. You don't want to take the pressure off the Panthers.
Now 1-2 to the Flying Dutchman, coined by one Denny Steckline on Twitter. Todd's pitch, way high, 2-2.
You know, Julian's speed earned him that nickname. And, you know, being from the Netherlands, he's not as acquainted with everything in the American culture as we are. And there was another time I changed it up and called him Dutch Boy. And he stopped me in the halls at school once and said, what's this Dutch Boy? And I said, you know, Dutch Boy, like the house paint, Dutch Boy. And he's just staring at me blankly. And I'm like, all right, we're going to stick with Flying Dutchman.
2-2 pitch, called strike 3 at the letters. Late movement, and that caught Julian looking. So the one thing that the Dragons didn't need a strikeout, they got, and now it's up to Scott Wolverton as he take a 2-out hit to get something in here in the 4th. You don't want, if you're Hutchinson, to strand too many opportunities because they have been far
few and far between. Yep. And not only late movement on that pitch, I think it fooled the home plate umpire as well, because Julian stood his ground, started to step out, and then the umpire made the call to ring him up. So I think he even thought about that one for a second.
Ball 1 to Wolverton. Pitch up and a little bit in. Temperature right now at 88 degrees here at the ballpark downtown.
Okay, don't whistle.
Wolverton sends one to center field. That's down for a hit. Morgenson scores. Here comes Nedved. He scores, and the Dragons are on top 2-0. A 2-out knock by Scott Wolverton.
Boy, you've got to be so happy for that young man. You talked earlier about his struggles in getting a chance here in a crucial game, a sudden death do-or-die game, and he comes through with a huge 2 RBI base hit.
Wolverton now 1 for 3 in the postseason. He comes through with 2 outs, and now it's Ryan Moritz. Ryan singled to lead off the 3rd. That is now 6 hits for Hutchinson. They've doubled their hit total of yesterday. Todd floats one in for strike 1. That for Scott Wolverton. It's 2-out RBIs, 4 and 5. That's just his 8th 2-out hit this year, but what a clutch time to have it. Changeup misses low and away, and the count even at a ball and a strike. That was the 50th pitch delivered by Joe Todd.
Both bullpens quiet, as you would expect at this point, though Todd is starting to get a little bit deeper in the count.
Outside of the walk-off, that's the first time Hutchinson's had a lead since Game 2 of the Coffeyville series. Pitch slice foul off the roof of the batting cages.
That had a lot more carry to it than I thought it did. I thought that was back here more behind the dugout.
The wind is kicked back up again all of a sudden. The flag down the right field line is once again outstretched. It's been a steady wind outside of that momentary dullness a few minutes ago. The pitch. Called strike 3, and Moritz goes down on strikes. But Scott Warburton comes through. A 2-out, 2-run single. And the Dragons get on the board, now leading Neosho County 2-0 after 3.5 here in Wichita. This is Blue Dragon Baseball. Welcome back to Lawrence-Dumont Stadium, everybody. Scott Wolverton's 2-out, 2-run single on the top of the fourth gives Hutchinson a 2-0 lead over Neosho County. Panthers hitting home half of the fourth. And it will be 5, 6, and 7. Mears, Mcdaniel, and Garrison to face Wyatt Divis, who's allowed just 2 hits over his first 3 innings. Big right-hander kicks and fires and misses low ball 1. Mears walked his first time up. That coming to lead off the second. The pitch misses low, and it's 2-0. Div worked out of a big jam in the second, got a couple of strikeouts.
It'll be interesting to see how he responds now that his team's given him a lead.
2-0 pitch is fouled off by Mears to the right. Count now 2-1. Somebody that you and I have tormented regularly over the last couple of years, chiming in on Twitter or texting. Was it Twitter or texting?
That was on Twitter. Our good friend Laken Preisner, former Blue Dragon lady basketball player, now down at East Central in Oklahoma.
2-2 the count now to Mears.
We've only got, 5.5 innings left, so we don't have time to get into the whole story of how Laken earned the nickname Too High. But it had to do with the summer she was working the scoreboard at Monarchs games, and we were both working in the press box.
Here's the payoff pitch from Divis. Lifted down the right field line, giving Chase his rip into foul territory, and he can't get it.
Nice effort by Julian. He had a couple of things to contend with there. He was approaching the Blue Dragon bullpen, but at least at the home plate side and not at the mound area where the elevation would change, and then the fence over there.
That wind actually pushed it back into playable territory. Seen that a lot this week, that south wind. There's not much of a wind block here at Lawrence-Dumont. Once again, the 3-2. Hit down the right field line again. Rip and Baxley giving chase, and this one lands just out of play toward the Hardball Cafe. That'll be one of the elements once Lawrence-Dumont disappears. That one of the popular things here. Sit out at the Hardball watching a baseball game.
They've done a great job of adapting this old ballpark to really meet the needs of today's fan base with.
Ooh, close pitch, but it's taken low, and Mears draws a leadoff walk.
Yeah, the cafe down the right field line, the party deck up behind the third base dugout.
A lot of fan seating and picnic tables out in the outfield that you look through the fence. Mears draws a walk to lead out the fourth. Third walk issued by Divis. And now it's the designated hitter, Marcus Mcdaniel. McDaniel popped up on a bunt attempt his first time. Not bunting here. First pitch swinging. He pops up into shallow right. Logan Sartori drifting back, makes the catch in front of Julian Rip. And there's one away. That was a good pitch from Div.
Very good pitch. Jammed him, and Sartori kept backpedaling and backpedaling and backpedaling, and was able to squeeze that one for the first out of the inning.
Catcher Brady Garrison steps in. 1 on, 1 out here in the fourth. Dragons leading 2-0. Garrison, one of the two, hits off Wyatt Divis, a single. Strike at the knees, 0-1. Divis' next pitch will be number 70. Dragon bullpen threw 3 scoreless innings yesterday. Ground ball to Nedved at short. He steps on the bag for 1, over to first, double play, and that's the inning. A 6-3 inning double play. Dylan Nedved to Zach Baxley, and the Panthers returned away in the 4th. We head to the 5th inning. Dragons 2 and the Panthers 0. Third time around the order for the Blue Dragons against Neosho County pitcher Joe Todd. Dragons with a 2-0 lead on a 2-out, 2-run single by Scott Wolverton in the top of the 4th. Dragons 2 runs, 6 hits, 1 error, 4 left on. Neosho County no runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 4 left on. Each team has turned a double play. It'll be Schaefer, Sartori, and Divis here in the 5th.
We talked about how Wyatt Divis would respond to his team giving him that lead, and a little bit of concern there for a minute when he walked the leadoff man, but a nice double play by Nedved and a good job of pitching by Wyatt to induce the pop-up and then the sharp grounder that led to that double play and got himself out of the jam.
Brock Schaefer 0 for 1 with the sacrifice, and he takes outside ball 1. Schaefer, the last third of the season, might have been the best Blue Dragon hitter and helped him jump back into the leadoff role. He hits one well to right field and deep. Going back as Richards. This has a chance. Gone! It's 3-0 Hutchinson.
Home run number 6 for Brock, the native of Andover, just down the road a ways from Lawrence-Dumont Stadium.
Brock got a pitch, bell high, middle in, and he just murdered it. That's the first home run of the tournament that's gone to right field. Everything else has been to left or center. Schaefer leads off with a solo home run, and it's 3-0. Logan Sartori, the batter. He's 1 for 1 with a walk. Breaking pitch a little bit low for a ball. See, this is the 3rd year you and I have done this now, Denny. Most memorable Blue Dragon home run in this ballpark.
No question. No question. 9th inning, 2 down. Were there 2 strikes?
Yes.
And who, if I had asked you to list 10 Blue Dragons who would have hit that home run, where on that list would Bobby Malaki's name have shown up?
Probably wasn't on it. Logan Sartori hits a high fly ball to right field at second baseman Tanner Fox makes an over-the-shoulder catch.
If you're listening, Bob, we love you, but you wouldn't have been on either one of our lists. But we're happy you did it. The game ended up going to extra. It didn't end well for us, but what an exciting turn of events that was as they battled. If I remember right, I think we were down 5-0 after one.
Yes. That was against Johnson County. Wyatt Divis takes a strike. Hitting some bad hitting luck in his inning-ending 6-4-3 double play. Hit the ball hard, but Neosho had him played perfectly. Divis takes a shot to left, and he fouls it off, and very quickly 0-2 on the Blue Dragon pitcher. Dragons now with 7 hits after the Brock Schaefer home run. For the team, that is home run number 81. Just the second of the postseason. Both came here in Wichita. You had texted me last week. I was up at softball in Topeka, and you'd text me at the Blue Dragons didn't have one home run at Hobart-Detter Field in that entire 3-game series.
Yeah, and I knew your encyclopedia mind would probably have a good idea, but I sure can't think of the last time we went 3 games at Hobart-Detter without a home run.
Not this season. Divis swings and misses on a changeup for out number 2, and that'll bring up Bobby Morgenson. Been trying to get to all his career numbers. He's got quite a few in the top 10, but again, another double. He'll have another record by himself. Bobby 1 for 2. Takes a pitch a little bit low, ball 1. Now 151 total hits. That's 5th all time.
He's going to have a pretty productive tournament to catch up to Michael Hellman, isn't he?
Yeah, 151 hits. He's only 49 behind Hellman now for the all-time. Michael Hellman's still not only the Hutchinson leader in career hits, he's the JI Conference leader in career hits, the only player in conference history, and this goes back a few years, folks, to have 200 hits in a career. 3-0 now to Morgenson. Bases empty, 2 away. 3-0 Hutch here in the 5th. 4-pitch walk to the bus. He's at first base with 2 out. Dylan Nedved, the batter.
That was a pretty cautious approach to Bob there. I think they recognized he'd hit the ball as hard as he had those first 2 at-bats, and even with 2 away and nobody on, they weren't going to take any chances.
Dylan Nedved steps in 2 for 2. Nedved now 5 for 17 in the postseason. Takes a pitch low and in, 75-mile-per-hour changeup. Joe Todd now at 66 pitches.
It's good to see Michael still having success, batting .371 for Texas A&M. Numbers falling off a little bit, but still leading the team.
Dylan hits a high chopper to second. Fox has it, pours it across, and the Dragons are done in the 5th. 1 run on the Schaefer home run to lead it off. 1 hit, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Hutchinson 3 and Neosho County nothing. Three 3-0 Hutch, halfway home here in this elimination game of the Region 6 Central District Tournament. Steve Carpenter, Denny Steckline with you. Brandon Sams on the camera. Cherise Sams running the controls.
90 degrees on the thermometer out there in left center field, Carp.
Man, does it feel good after some of the games we've had this year.
You know, it does, but I wish spring would have stayed around for longer than 2.5 hours. Because we went from 40s and 50s and north winds to 80s and 90s.
Joe Mondragon fouls off his first attempt of the fifth inning. Mondragon took a called third in his first at bat. With the name, I was kind of, when we saw him last year, we kind of, Brian Schmidt, just for the name, would have recruited him.
It seems natural, doesn't it?
It does. Now 0-2.
Heads up.
That one's toward the sound room. My normal hangout hits just a little bit low. Another little quirk of this ballpark, you have to be on your toes at all time for foul balls. There's no net here. Mondragon pulls that one.
He's not in front of the press box like we have at Hobart Detter. They've got it behind the plate, in front of and in top of the seating area. But we don't have that extra layer of security like we have when we're at the home games in Hutchinson.
And thus flinching is somewhat allowed here.
Somewhat.
Mondragon spoils another 0-2 pitch.
While it may be allowed, that still does not absolve you from getting called out on Twitter if you do flinch.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. Oh-2 pitch, and again, Mondragon spoils it. 76 pitches now for Wyatt Divis. Get you his pitching line to this point. 4 innings, 2 hits, 3 strikeouts, 3 walks.
Bullpens remain quiet for both sides.
The pitch. Fouled back again. Div not trying to fish here. He is going after Mondragon. And the Neosho first baseman continues to fight off pitches. It remains 0-2. This will be the 7th pitch of the at-bat.
Credit to Wyatt. He's coming right at him and coming at the plate. And Mondragon's credit to him as well for keeping alive.
Big Reddy kicks him, fires, and gets him swinging. Scott Warburton applies the tag, and that's a strikeout. One away here in the Neosho County 5th. Now Kenton Richards, the right fielder, he also struck out. It was Mondragon and Richards who struck out when Neosho County posted their biggest threat back in the 2nd. They had 2 on with 1 out. And Divis stepped up and finished him off. Strike called to Richards.
4 strikeouts now for Wyatt. 3 swinging and 1 looking.
Pitch just misses the outside corner. A couple of Dragon fans bark at that call a little bit, but it was proper, and it's 1-1. The pitch. Off speed, popped up. Shallow center. Back goes Sartori. Back goes Nedved. It's Sartori. He's got it, and there's 2 away. So that was much more efficient at bat.
Yeah, that wasn't on.
You lose juice?
That wasn't on at all. We were just about dead.
Woo.
Denny, watch your feet, man.
Watch your feet, Denny.
Now, Cruz Aranda. Neosho County making its 3rd time through the order against Wyatt Divis. Aranda fouls 1 back, and it's 0-1. Aranda has struck out and flown out to Julian Rippon right. Another foul ball to plate, and very quickly 0-2.
Well, Wyatt's ready to go. He's working very quickly, and that one was chopped in the dirt at the plate, and he was slapping his glove on his thigh, wanting that ball back.
0-2 pitch. Curveball just misses low.
Boy, talk about wanting something. He was taking 3 steps to the dugout and kind of turned in disgust at not getting that call. What a great pitch. Probably was inside a little bit, but that's a pitch anybody's going to want.
Now the 1-2 from Divis. Got him swinging, and the inning is over. 2 strikeouts in the inning. Neosho County goes down in order for the first time today. We head to the 6th inning. Dragons 3 and the Panthers 0.
what buttons to be pushing them.
Yeah, all that's on my computer. Yeah, when they buy me, they buy my stats computer, my printer, my music computer, me. But one of the deals is Josh made with them, we don't have to pay the broadcast fees for them using me. So we're streaming for free, plus I get paid.
Oh, cool.
And I'm over at the Broadmoor, too. They put me up. $100 per diem. I get paid $800 for doing it. I'm at the Broadmoor.
Damn.
Right there. About that 8-story building. If you look right over the church, it's the first one, big one you see. Way better than the Hyatt.
Is it the brick one?
Yeah. It's got the big air conditioning unit in the middle and the sign off to the right. Zach Baxley leads off the Dragons 6th. Hutchinson leading 3-0. Bax 0 for 1 with the sacrifice bunt. And that was a key bunt. That led to Scott Wolverton's 2-out. There's a high fly ball down the left field line toward the corner. It's got a chance. Foul ball.
You know, this three-man crew threw me for a curve. I'm watching home to see what the call is going to be, not thinking about the umpire down the third base line. And didn't miss by much.
It was a moonbeam shot, and they only had the distance. We just had to see if it had the direction, and it barely curved foul. Third base umpire Mike Lentz making the call. By the way, the umpires, again, we just mentioned Mike Lentz, Randy Jordan at first, and Nate Garrison behind the plate. Later tonight, between the winner's bracket games, first to pitch to Baxley. Way high, and it's 1-1. Bob Homolka will be named the Umpire of the Year. This award was made last year, and it is named after Tim Davis, who lost his life to cancer. Ground ball to third, gobbled up by De La Torre. Strong throw in time, and Baxley's retired. So Bob Homolka, a longtime umpire at the Jayhawk and at the Division I level, will be honored tonight with the Tim Davis Umpire of the Year award. There's Julian Ripp. Base is empty, 1 away. Ripp has reached on a fielder's choice and took a called third.
Starting to see a little bit of activity in the Neosho bullpen with sophomore Dalton Weaver. Lefty from Riverton, Kansas, starting to get up and play catch.
Todd's pitch count at 71. 1-0 to Ripp. Same pitch, same location, same result. It's 2-0.
Even though it was foul, that foul ball by Baxley may have gotten Coach Murray's attention and realized that the Dragons aren't missing him by much.
Speaking of not missing him by much, I don't know how that inside pitch missed Julian.
Well, what I want to know is why Julian made the effort like he did to get out of the way.
That's not the Blue Dragon way for
No,
sure.
It's not. He should have to walk back to the hotel after the game today.
Here's the cripple. Strike at the knees, 3-1. Ripp taking all the way. Ever since 2005, the hit by pitch has become a moniker of Blue Dragon baseball. The 3-1. Breaking pitch misses low and away, and Ripp draws a 1-out walk. 2005, which ended up in Grand Junction at the World Series as Scott Wolverton steps up. 103 hit by pitches. You might think that would be the record. You would be wrong. 131 in 2010. And
is that the year that Matt Jones led it with, what, 40?
No, that was 2014.
That was 14.
That was 2014. 1 year, Matt Jones broke the single-season and career record. Wolvie tried to stick the elbow out to get hit, and he takes inside ball 1. Scotty Wolverton right now, the hero for Hutchinson, a 2-out, 2-run single his last time up. That gave Hutch their first lead of the tournament, and they led it 2-0 at that point. Now lead at 3. Wolverton swings and pops one up down the right field line. The second baseman Fox and the right fielder Richards, and it's Richards who finds it at the last minute to make the catch.
They didn't seem to be in sync with each other. Fox really was taking command of that until the right fielder came in and called him off. Now with 2 outs, you think Ripp runs? He's 7 out of 8 on the season, Carp.
I would think there's a chance that Jamel Cervantes will put him in motion, especially with the left-handed hitting Ryan Moritz. Moritz 1 for 2, a second inning single. Pitch at the letters for a strike. Actually, if the umpires made a change, it's Mike Lentz at first and Randy Jordan now at second, but Randy Jordan made the call on the home run foul ball on Zach Baxley. Moritz stays outside and it's 1-1. Wolverton's 2-run single in the fourth gave Hutchinson a 2-0 lead. Then Brock Schaefer led off the fifth with a solo blast to right. And that's where we are right now. 3-0 here in the sixth. Runner goes. Hit and run was on, and Moritz fouls it off. Pitch inside half. Pretty good pitch from Todd. But if Moritz meets up with it, the second baseman was covering. That entire right side was wide open. So now 1-2 to Moritz. Julian Ripp gets his lead from first. Todd comes set. Rip does not run, and the pitch is high. It's 2-2 to Ryan Moritz.
Julian would be a good one to, if you get a hit and run where it's a base hit into the gap, even if it's not extra bases, with his speed, he'd have a good chance of coming all the way around.
2-2 pitch misses just low. I think Ryan was holding his breath on that one. And now the count's full, and Julian Ripp will most definitely be going with 3-2, the count, and 2 out. So Ripp will get a head start. Kind of shocked he's being held by Mondrag.
That's what I just picked that up, that he's still holding him on, but that may be just to keep him.
That ball's up the middle. Base hit. Ripp will head for third.
They may have been holding him just to keep him a couple of steps even closer to the bag.
What was odd about that, you got a left-handed hitter.
Great point. That hole was even bigger. But once again, and that's the second time Ryan's taken it straight back up the box, and, probably the fourth or fifth hit for Hutch that's gone straight back up the middle. So they are seeing Todd well.
Yes. Moritz with his second hit, the Dragons with 8, and Brock Schaefer steps up. We all know what he did last time. He left the yard to right field. Solo shot to lead off the fifth. Pitch in the dirt. Nice stop by Gage Garrison. That saved a run. Ball. Schaefer has 14 two-out RBIs this year, 16 of 63. That's a 254 average. There's one toward the gap left center field. That gets down for a hit. Rip scores. Heading for third is Moritz. Cervantes will hold him there, and it's a double for Brock Schaefer. His second RBI of the game, and Hutchinson leads it 4-0.
Great job of two-out hitting by Schaefer, taking it to the gap in left center. And, we've seen this with a couple of outfielders already, but they're playing a little bit conservatively because of this turf, and that took a big hop, and the left fielder had to kind of hang back and play that on the bounce, which gave Brock plenty of time to get into second.
Neosho's pitching coach heads out to the mound. A lot of the time he himself will make the pitching changes. Pitch count now for Todd at 84. Only 44 for strikes, and we will have a pitching change. So the Dragons have scored in 3 consecutive at-bats. Brock Schaefer in this inning, an RBI double the opposite way to left center, and that creates a pitching change. And we'll tell you about the new Neosho pitcher after this. Sophomore left-hander Dalton Weaver takes over on the mound for the Neosho County Panthers. Weaver making his 12th overall appearance, only his second in relief. He carries the 6-1 record and a 4.13 earned run average into this one. 48 innings pitched for Weaver, 47 hits allowed, 29 runs, 22 of them have been earned. Basically a 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, 48 strikeouts to 25 walks, and he has allowed 6 home runs. So the Blue Dragons have chased starter Joe Todd. Todd right now tagged with 4 runs and 9 hits, but Ryan Moritz at third, Brock Schaefer at second are his responsibility. So that we can't close the book totally on Todd. And now Weaver will face Logan Sartori, who's 1 for 2 with a walk. Dragons now with 9 hits in the game, 2 for Neosho County. 2 outs in the inning. The Dragons have scored 3 of their 4 runs with 2 out today. Sartori goes first pitch hacking, and he's late on a fastball. Fouls off to the right.
Good speed at second with Schaefer, so anything to the outfield on the ground is likely going to put 2 on the board for Hutch.
Outfield deep for the Panthers. Sartori again fouls it off to the right, and he hits from an 0-2 hole. This ballpark, again, 400 to dead center, 330 down the lines, 385 to the alleys. A little bit deeper than teams are used to playing. The 0-2 pitch. Sartori stays alive barely. He was way out balanced with that swing, but he gets a piece of it and remains alive at 0-2.
Came off speed with him there. That one clocked at 80 on the gun. And had Logan fishing for it a little bit. Fouled it off the catcher's helmet.
The lefty Weaver comes set. Once again delivers the 0-2. Ground ball, foul just outside of third. Nice diving stop by Caleb De La Torre, goes for naught. Once again, the 0-2. Sartori hits one a mile high to shallow center. Could be trouble. Beats coming in, finally finds it and makes the catch, and the inning is over. But the Dragons get a 2-out RBI double from Brock Schaefer, 1 run on 2 hits and 2 left on. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Our new score, Hutchinson 4 and Neosho County nothing.
Heading to the bottom of the 6th inning, Neosho coming to bat. 2, 3, and 4 hitters as Steve Carpenter gets readjusted. Had to go chase down his 14th can of Coca-Cola on the day.
Tanner Fox fouls one off. He's 1 for 2, a first inning single.
It may not be 14, but it's not far from 14.
Well, it's not been too bad today. I'm only on number 6. And it's not even 3 o'clock yet. 1-1 pitch. Grounded up the middle. Backhanded stop by Sartori. He sets his feet and throws in time, 1 away. The key thing there, he set his feet.
Yes, he did, and made a good throw to get him. And, Carp, I want to follow up on, your consumption, but not in that regard. But what a lot of our listeners may not realize is, you're doing the Hutch game right now, but you're working this entire tournament for the Jayhawk Conference. And I think that speaks very highly as to what the leadership of the conference recognizes you can bring to the table for them.
Got him. That ground ball glanced off the glove of Wyatt Davis, and then Logan Sartori had to make an immediate 90-degree turn, picked it up and flipped it, and got De La Torre by a step, so it goes as a routine 1-4-3.
Exactly. Took the words right out of my mouth.
2 up, 2 down for Nolan Beats. 0 for 2, a pop-up and a fly-out. I've done this tournament now since it came to Lawrence-Dumont since 2004 for the region. Kind of consider it my baby.
Yeah, so you worked 4 games yesterday. This is just game 2 today for you. You'll have 2 after this that you help out with, and then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday as well.
Yep. And pitch fouled out of the play by Beats. Last year I figured out, worked game number 150 as the scorer. The only games I've missed, any Hutchinson game since 2009 that I broadcast, which have been all of them obviously, I've only missed 3 games because of illness. But other than that, I've been here in that sound room doing every game. Swinging a miss on a high fastball. Actually, it was a changeup. 74-mile-per-hour changeup.
Yeah, that's 1 and 2. The board's got 1 and 1, but there we go. Followed the foul ball, so Div ahead in the count.
Here's Davis's 1-2. Got him swinging, and it's a very quick 6th inning for the Panthers. That is now 6, 7, 8 in a row retired for Wyatt Davis, and he is cruising through 6. Dragons 4, Neosho County nothing as we head to the 7th. Heading to the 7th, 4-0 Hutchinson. It'll be Wyatt Davis, Bobby Morgenson, and Dylan Nedved. And, we might get all the way through Morgenson's numbers. Career stuff we've been trying to say in his first 3 at-bats when he gets up here in the 7th. Here's Davis.
More activity in the Neosho bullpen.
Wyatt 0 for 3. He struck out his last time up. Also was hit into a double play and grounded out. Ball 1. From Weaver here to start the 7th. Lefty misses low, and it's 2-0.
I think that action we see in the pen, those white numbers on orange tops are a little bit hard to read, but it looks like Nick Wohler, a freshman from Manhattan.
2-0 pitch to Div. He's hacking and fouls it off.
And for Hutchinson, big text, Aiden Lane has made his way to the bullpen, starting to do some stretching, so there's a good chance we'll see him before this one's over.
Is Dayton's dad in the ballpark, or did he make it up for this?
Good question. I do not know. I came straight up here when I got here, so I haven't really milled around and seen what kind of family members are here for the boys yet. And I would imagine so,
Well, if he's listening, you called me about an earned run on Dayton last week, and you were correct. I changed it to an unearned run. Davis shoots one foul off to the left and runs the count full. Dayton's dad called me earlier this year. Sometimes when we don't put the full box set automatically into the stats system, you put it in manually. In one game, I had missed a box and against Barton Dayton to give up 12 home runs in one game. 3-2 pitch is low ball 4, a leadoff walk for Divis here in the 7th. And so Dayton's dad calls me, and I immediately find it. And before I even got off the phone with him, I already had it fixed. But we had a really great 1/2 hour conversation, just talking baseball. And it was a great set of parents on this team. It's been fun.
Yeah, sophomore from College Station, Texas. I think he's going to take the mound for Stephen F. Austin next season, if I understand correctly.
Breaking pitch on the inner half from Weaver to Morgenson for strike 1. Bobby's looked much better today. Even his outs have been hit hard. Breaking pitch misses.
You know, we speculated they might have worked around him a little bit last time up with a 4-pitch walk, but with Divis at first and nobody down here in top 7, there's not really the situation for them to do that, so they're going to have to come at him.
The pitch. Grounded right at short. This could be 2. Flipped to second for 1, on to first, and guess we jinxed him.
I guess so.
6-4-3 double play, and just like that, 2 away here in the Dragons' 7th. Now Dylan Nedved. Dylan 2 for 3, couple of singles. Scored 1 run. Now he scored ahead of Scott Wolverton's 2-out, 2-run single. That gave the Dragons the lead in the 4th.
Outside of Schaefer's home run, the other 3 runs for Hutchinson have all been scored with 2 outs. So let's see if we can negate that jinx we just put on him to induce the double play.
2-0. Tell you who hit well with 2 outs this year is the Blue Dragon softball team. This number will blow you away if you didn't know it. They hit 374 with 2 outs, so they had 172 out RBIs.
Oh, my gosh. Tip of the hat to Coach Jamie Rose, and couldn't hold up. Coach Jamie Rose and the softball team for coming up just 1 game short of nationals, but an outstanding season. Was it 37 wins?
38 and 11.
38 and 11.
They hadn't been before last year to the regional championship since 1992. Now they've gone back-to-back times. Next year, they move back to Division I. Well, they'll have to face the Monster and Butler, but I think it'll be a good move for Blue Dragon softball. 2-1 to Nedved. Breaking pitch is tapped foul. Now it's 2-2 to the Dragon shortstop.
You know, we can't see all the seating from here, but I wouldn't be surprised if a number of the ladies came over from Hutch supporting the baseball team today.
I was told several were going to come up and talk to us. I know DJ Canada was going to stop by before heading home to Texas. Nedved takes a breaking pitch on the outside corner for a called third, and the Dragons are done in the 7th. Stretch time at Lawrence-Dumont. It is Hutchinson 4, Neosho County nothing. Welcome back to Lawrence-Dumont Stadium, everybody. Steve Carpenter and Denny Steckline with you. 4-0 Hutchinson as we go to the home half of the 7th. Wyatt Divis has thrown a 2-hit shutout to this point through 6 innings, 6 strikeouts and 3 walks. He gets 5, 6, and 7 here in the Panthers' 7th. Mears, McDaniel, and Garrison. First pitch to Aaron Mears is a swing and a miss. Mears has walked twice today. Another swing and a miss. Very quickly, 0-2.
Wyatt's done an outstanding job today. As I'm looking over my score sheet here and we're coloring in the balls and strikes, there are not a lot of dots. You know, I know his pitch count's getting up there, but, you know, we're in the bottom of the 7th inning.
0-2 is jam shot, fisted foul.
He's challenging the hitters and throwing a lot of strikes and letting his defense do their job when it presents itself.
He's retired 8 in a row. Once again, the 0-2 bounces in. Actually, not a bad miss on 0-2, and now he can set something else up here. Dibb got off to a very slow start on the mound this year and then spent some time on the shelf. Worked his way back. Ground ball left side past the diving Nedved.
You touched on it earlier, Carp. That's one of those notorious 2-strike base hits, especially when the count's 0-2, 1-2.
That is the first hit since the 2nd inning for Neosho County. It's a leadoff single by Mears. Now the designated hitter, Marcus McDaniel, who was fouled out on a bunt attempt and then popped out to Logan Sartori. Dragons have turned 1 double play today. Doubt the Panthers will be bunting in this situation, down 4. And it's a fastball at the letters at 84. First strike. Davis out of the stretch, breaking pitch, and good stop by Wolverton. And count 1-1. McLean Street's been very calm this tournament. Normally you see a lot of motorcyclist drag racing, but it has been a very calm McLean here at the 2018 Region 6 tournament.
Yeah, and with, you know, the weather finally turning and getting away from that cold snap that extended cold snap we dealt with.
Little looper over a leaping Nedved. Drops in for a hit. And the Panthers getting warmed up here. 2-1 to start the 7th. Mears stops at second. And now it's Brady Garrison, the catcher. And that might get Dayton Lane up again.
Yeah, Dayton had sat down, was taking a break, but quickly jumps up.
So the Panthers have doubled their hit total here in the 7th. Now with 4. Mears and McDaniel with singles, Garrison to hit. And it won't take long for Dayton to get warmed up on this gorgeous afternoon, now 88 degrees. It's dropped a couple of degrees. Davis out of the stretch, the pitch. Breaking pitch over the inner half, strike 1. That was pitch number 101.
He called that a ball, Carp.
Did he?
He stepped back like he was going to punch it, but
okay. That's what I saw him step back because that's all he's done all day when he called the strike. Once again, breaking pitch right on the plate, didn't get called. Line shot, that's fair, down the left field, line into the corner. Morgenson now has the ball, get away from him. This will plate 2 as Garrison will put the brakes on at second. Neosho County's on the board, now trailing 4-2. 3 straight hits to start the 7th. Mears scores, McDaniel scores all the way from first. And Hutchinson's 4-run lead now at 2. And we'll see what Ryan Schmidt's thinking here.
He's thought he might be starting up the steps, but he's still at the bottom there, and he and pitching coach Scott Reller are deep in conversation.
Joe Mondragon will be the batter.
I think this bat might tell Coach Schmidt and Coach Reller a lot, and that's going to bring Schmidt's going to come on out and probably give Dayton Lane a little bit more time, but also try to calm down Divis.
Divis has struck out Mondragon twice. That might keep him in the game for just one more batter, but looks like Dayton Lane is ready.
I always enjoy these visits to the mound by Schmidt. The entire infield comes in, but most of the time it's just a 2-person conversation, yes. And I would bet money only one of them's doing a lot of talking.
Yeah, and it's looking right into the eyes of his pitcher. So Schmidt's going to stick with Divis. And again, striking out Mondragon twice may play into this decision. But Mondragon now represents the tying run.
And I think how this at-bat plays out will tell us a lot about whether Wyatt gets another batter.
Mondragon 8 home runs on the year. Divis has fared well against lefties, just .234 against him off left-handed batters. Misses high, ball 1 to Mondragon. And that pitch count now over 100. Divis's last 2 outings have been lightning. Through a 4-hit shutout 1 week ago. Now it's down, ball 2. Dragons have out hit Neosho 9-5, but the very offensive-minded Panthers starting to wake the bats up here in the 7th. Divis checks the runner at second, now delivers. Fastball grounded up the middle. Nedved will get to it behind the bag, pours it across in time. Moving up to third is Garrison with 1 out. And there's 1 out here in the 7th. Good play by Dylan Nedved, who ranged far to his left to make a strong throw.
That's going to be it for Wyatt as Coach Schmidt comes out of the Blue Dragon dugout and is going to make the call here for Dayton Lane.
So Dayton sprinting in from the right field bullpen. We'll give you the numbers on him. We'll take a break. 4-2 Dragons here in the 7th. Out of College Station, Texas, righty sophomore Dayton Lane takes over for Wyatt Divis. Divis will stay in the game as the designated hitter, so he doesn't come completely out. He'll slap his bat in the 3-hole, but now it's up to Dayton Lane to shut this thing down for the Blue Dragons. 3-2 record for Dayton Lane, 4 saves, 21 appearances overall out of the pen, 2.25 ERA. Dayton has worked 36 innings now, 24 hits, 17 runs, 24 walks, 40 strikeouts. Opponents hitting just 180 against. Over his career, Dayton Lane with 11 career saves. This is a save situation for him. A career 2.86 earned run average. He takes over with a runner at third base and 1 away. And he will face the 9-hole hitter, Kenton Richards. Richards against Divis was 0 for 2. The infield will stay back for the Dragons. They'll give up the run for the out. First pitch from Dayton Lane paints the outside corner. And right now, if you're a Dragon, if you were able to watch the Butler stream, you saw a nasty Dayton Lane that day, and you'd love to see that same pitcher here today. 1-1 now the count to Richards.
I think Dayton came in, worked the 8th and the 9th. I think it was a total of 19 pitches in those 2 innings.
Dayton leaves a slider out over the plate, and Richards goes the other way and drives in a run, a single through the right side. And the Dragon lead now cut to 1. He just caught too much of the plate with that with the slider. Garrison scores to make it 4-3 now. And it's back to the top of the order in Cruz Aranda.
And you hate to see that damage being done by the 9-hole hitter who comes into that at bat already 0 for 2 on the day.
Dragons could use a double play here. Lane over the inside corner with an 81-mile-per-hour pitch for strike one. That run charge to Wyatt Divis, so we can close the book on him. Foul back and very quickly, 0-2 to Aranda.
Hutch will have the 6, 7, and 8 hitters coming up when we move to the 8th. Baxley, Rip, and Wolverton.
Wyatt Divis goes 6 1/3, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts at 105 pitches. The pitch, a little check swing foul. And it is 0-2.
Not sure that didn't catch the bat twice. I think that was a real excuse me, and it went straight down into the turf and might have caught it again as it bounced back up.
In the box, it's legal. Lane making his second postseason appearance. The pitch got him swinging. 76-mile-per-hour changeup gets Aranda on his front foot. He strikes out for out number 2. Now it's second baseman Tanner Fox. Fox 1 for 3.
Oftentimes when a pitcher comes in and has that swagger and that attitude that Dayton possesses, when you're in the box, you might expect him to just come at you with a high, hard one, pitch after pitch. But Dayton is as effective or even more effective coming off speed, and I think that fools a lot of hitters.
Richards at first now, 2 away. He has 3 steals and 4 attempts. The pitch. Fouled out of play to the right, and Lane is up in the count on Fox, 0-2. 4 hits in the inning, 3 runs for the Panthers. They're right back in it. The righty comes set. The pitch, runner goes. High chopper, fielded by Lane right on the mound. Throws a pinpoint throw to first, and the inning is over. Nice job by Dayton Lane to work out of the jam. Neosho County comes up with 3 runs on 4 hits and leaves 1. We head to the 8th. Our new score, Hutchinson 4 and Neosho County 3. On to the 8th here at Lawrence-Dumont Stadium. Zach Baxley to lead it off. It'll be Baxley, Rip, and Wolverton 6, 7, and 8 against Dalton Weaver, who's ended his second full inning of work out of the pen for Steve Murray and the Neosho County Panthers. Bax takes low, ball 1. So far, Zach today, no hits and 2 at bats, 3 plate appearances. He missed. I'm sorry, he's 0 for 2. He has a sacrifice. Hits one high down the right field line, but it's into the hard ball cafe. And they count him to 1-1. If Hutchinson is to hold on to this lead and win the game, do not take away from that attempt, that bunt by Baxley in the 4th. That set up Wolverton's 2-run single to give the Dragons the lead.
No question. And as we talked about at the time,
Baxley hits one down the left field line. It's a fair ball and into the corner. It ricochets, played cleanly by the left fielder, but Baxley pulls in with a leadoff double to start the 8th, 10th hit of the day for the Blue Dragons.
That's a great way to answer those 3 runs that Neosho just played in the bottom of the 7th. Come back and try to build that lead up again.
Zach Baxley has had a very strong freshman campaign and is now hit number 51, double number 14. Now Julian Rip, the batter. Minimum, you just love to see him hit behind him.
I'd say they're expecting bunt.
Middle infielders are crashing in. That's a new one. And Julian never showed bunt and takes low ball 1. I have never seen both middle infielders crash like that.
I haven't either, and I don't know that I'd want to be one of them coming in like that because they were within the mound by the time the pitch got to home plate. They were probably 55 feet away, and that could require some dental work.
Weaver comes set and delivers. Julian not showing bunt again, and he takes for ball 2. They didn't come crashing that time, did they?
No, they didn't.
2-0 to Rep.
So do you show it now?
Julian fouls one off to the right.
I think when it's 2-0, the first thing you do is make him throw a strike.
Exactly. Julian Rip this year does have 3 sacrifice bunts, so he's capable of doing it. Now that middle infield playing back.
Even at the bag at third.
2-1 pitch, breaking pitch of beauty. Strike called, and it's 2-2 to Julian.
Had a lot of bite to it. That out of his hand, I'd even give it up on that one, thinking 3-1, and then it sharply caught the outside corner. Dylan Nedved starting to throw in the Hutchinson bullpen.
The pitch way high. And I want to make sure of the count. I've got 3-2.
I've got 3-2 as well.
Scoreboard.
We have a foul ball and a called strike.
Yeah, so it is 3-2.
1 strike behind.
Here's the payoff to Rip. Outside ball 4. So a good start to the 8th for Hutchinson. A Baxley double and a Rip walk. And they'll bring up Scott Warburton, who could really be the hero. Already a 2-run base hit for him. 2-run single. He's 1 for 3.
Well, will we see the middle infield crash with this? This is definitely a bunting situation, but how does it change that dynamic with runners at first and second?
Wolvie does have a sacrifice bunt this year. Corners even with the bags.
They're not showing any indication that they're coming.
Weaver comes set. Now the third baseman crashes, and the pitcher steps off very awkwardly. You could almost call that a balk. In fact, I could hear somebody in the Dragon dugout barking at that just a little bit.
It'd be interesting to look back at that. I'm not sure he'd towed the rubber yet.
That could be. That very well could be.
He
But
didn't
you also can't simulate something like that. That's
a good
you
point.
cannot deceive whether you're on or off or not. Once again, Weaver steps off. So Neosho County's trying to get the Dragons to tip what they're doing, and now Steve Murray's going to come out and talk to the infield.
Carp, you know the rules far better than I do. What would be the situation? We've got runners at first and second, and that shortstop's coming in between the runner and the bag and then circling around in front of the runner. What if the runner were to break and run into that fielder?
It should be obstruction. You've got to give him the baseline to go.
Because
that's a great point.
You almost wonder about trying to make that happen on purpose and gaining that base.
Steve Murray has used that tactic for years, and nobody's ever tried it. I wonder. It should be, and again, that's an interpretation rule. One umpire might call it one way, one might call it another. From my days, I would have called it obstruction, defensive obstruction, and then the runner at second would have gotten third.
Yeah, I don't know if it changes that since the ball hadn't been put in play yet. But that'd be a good one to ask an umpire sometime.
Yeah, exactly. Before the ball is put in play, that's an interesting call. The pitch. Wolverton takes outside on a close pitch for ball 1. So right now the wheels are turning for both dugouts.
Yeah, certainly a chess match going on.
Mondragon standing in front of Rip at first, not holding him, which is typical with a runner at second. The pitch. Wolvie, good swing, fouls it back off the upper deck here, and it's 1-1 now to the Dragon catcher. Never forget last year when I'm sitting at golf in Wichita and I get a text from Todd Moore at Barton, the SID there, texting me that Wolvie got hit in the face with a 90-mile-per-hour pitch on a bunt attempt, no less.
Right. Which was actually a foul ball.
Yes.
He fouled it into his
face. Then he went on this tear. The pitch. Over but low, 2-1 to Wolverton. His next at bat, which was 5 days later at Hobart Detter playing Dodge City, he hit a bomb that was over the scoreboard.
And he hit, 3 or 4 of them just in quick succession.
Yeah, he got on a tear after being hit in the. He didn't look very good, but boy, was he hitting. Wolvie drops a bunt down and fouls it, hits him in the box. Close. He was almost out of the box when it hit him.
Just about. Umpire quickly called that, though, pointed at the box.
Now it's 2-2 to Wolverton. Jamie Rose might be watching this, biting her nails, because Raven Bass got called out for stepping out of the box barely. If you would have had a batter's box like this where the lines are still there, you could actually call that against Raven, but there was no chalk there at Hummer Park. Big sweeping curveball, and Scotty swings and misses for out number 1. So Wolverton unable to move up the runners, and now it's up to Ryan Moritz with 1 out. He's 2 for 3, couple of singles, and the 2nd and 6th.
Couple of well-hit base hits, so you like the way he's seen the ball so far today, but this will be the first time with him facing the lefty.
Baxley at second, Rip at first. Decent speed on the bases. Strike called outside corner.
Better speed at first than second, so if there's a capper, you hope Julian's got the got it pulled back just a touch.
Breaking pitch inside at 71.
Another sweeping curveball that out of the hand didn't look anywhere close, but did not miss by much.
Ryan Moritz against lefties this year, hitting just 188, 300 against righties. The pitch, laid on a fastball. Now Moritz is down in the count 1-2. Boy, if you're Hutchinson, you want to come up at least 1 in this inning.
You need to, because after the Panthers put 3 on the board and you come out and get first and second, nobody out, you can't let them go back to that dugout with that kind of defensive momentum.
Here's Weaver's pitch. Called strike 3 outside corner. That was a no-doubter. Now there's 2 away. So Weaver has stepped up to the challenge after the Baxley double and Rip walk. He has struck out Wolverton and Moritz. But now he's got to face Brock Schaefer, who's driven in a couple of runs in his last 2 at-bats. A home run in the 5th, and then an RBI double in the 6th. That gave Hutchinson. Right now that double is the difference in the game. That gave Hutchinson a 4-0 lead. Schaefer now 2 for 4. Breaking pitch stays a little high.
Boy. I would guess that might be young Mr. Weaver's mother, because we heard one female Neosho fan who didn't like that call, and I'm not sure where it was at.
Schaefer 340 against left-handers this year.
Look how deep they're playing him in right, Carp.
Yes. Strike at the letters, and it's 1-1. That might have been a makeup pitch for the previous pitch. That one looked a little high.
With Rip speed at first, if he could get one down the right field line, it's likely going to score 2.
Weaver comes set now, delivers. Breaking pitch inside. Weaver, one of the Neosho County starters, so Steve Murray rolling the dice, hoping one of his starters can shut down the Blue Dragons to give him a chance. Now, they just wanted home plate umpire Nate Garrison just wanted the pitcher to kick the rosin bag off the back. Now back to work. 2-1 to Schaefer. The pitch. Up the middle. That's in for a base hit. Here comes Baxley to score. The throw to third, not in time. Moving into second base is Schaefer. He's got 3 RBIs in the game, and the Dragons lead at 5-3.
Great job by Brock. What clutch hitting once again. Getting one of those runs back to this point and leaving 2 Blue Dragons in scoring position now for Logan Sartori. Let's just call it. Let's say Logan's due for this game.
Indeed he is. Schaefer at second, Rip at third, now 5-3 Hutchinson. Sartori, the batter, he's 1 for 4. 1 for 3, excuse me. Outside ball 1. That was a biggie for Hutchinson. We just spoke of it a moment ago. They had to get one in after starting the inning with 2 on and nobody out. And Brock Schaefer delivers. Sartori bloops one to right. Could be trouble. Richards coming on, still coming, dives and traps it. This will score 2 runs. Sartori headed for second. He's in safe at 7-3 Hutchinson. A bloop double to right, and Danny, you called it. The right fielder Richards playing so deep. And the bleeder works for the Blue Dragons. A 2-run double for Logan Sartori, and Hutchinson leads it 7-3.
You know, you talked earlier about how deep some of these outfielders have been playing to keep the ball in front of them on this turf, and we noticed it in this inning, especially how far back there that Richards has been. And, you know, that was only a step or two makes a difference on that play.
That is double number 22 for Sartori. RBIs 52 and 53, and Dibbs drives one to left. Going back, though, to make the catch is Mears. And the Dragons are done in the 8th. But 3 more 2-out RBIs for Hutchinson. 6 of their 7 runs have come with 2 outs today. The Dragons come up with 3 big runs on 3 hits. None bigger than Brock Schaefer's base hit and Logan Sartori's double. 1 left. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Our new score, Hutchinson 7 and Neosho County 3. Caleb De La Torre to lead off the bottom of the 8th. Dayton Lane in to work his first full inning. It is 3, 4, and 5 here in the Neosho 8th. A 3-run top of the 8th for Hutchinson. Things feel a little bit better as they rebuild that 4-run lead. And it's strike 1 from Dayton Lane on the outer half. De La Torre today so far 0 for 2. A fly out and a ground out and a walk. Lane paints the outside corner with the 86-mile-per-hour fastball, and just like that, it's 0-2 to De La Torre. Dragons trying to do what Neosho County did to them 1 year prior, knock him out of the tournament. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's 1 away here in the 8th.
When we talked the last half inning about how important it was to answer those 3 runs, and answer them, Hutch did. And then to come out and get a 3-pitch strikeout to lead off bottom 8 is huge for Dayton Lane's confidence. Not that he needs help in that category. That's one of the things you love about Dayton is the swagger he carries to the mound.
Nolan Bates hits a 2-hopper to short. Dylan Nedved has it, pours it across the backsley, 2 away. That'll bring up Aaron Mears, the left fielder. He singled and scored his last time up. Walked twice, 1 for 1 with a run scored. This is a save situation for Dayton. Could be the old-fashioned Dan Quisenberry 2+ innings type save.
Don't you miss the good old days, Carp?
Oh, I do. High pop down the right field line into foul territory. 3 Dragons giving chase. Sartori can't quite run it down. And he had a long run. He was positioned more up the middle. And he went a long way and covered some ground just to get a glove on it.
You know, and the flag's not moving a lot, but that ball only ended up about 4 feet foul by the time it hit Logan's glove, hit off the end of his glove. And so it's definitely moving that ball and made things a little bit interesting. And Julian in right field, a little bit towards right center. Otherwise, he probably is able to get on his horse and get over and snag that.
0-1 the count to Mears. Lane's pitch hit him. That is one thing that Dylan has done, excuse me.
How about Dayton?
Dayton, that's it. He is done. He is hit
I'll
a lot of
introduce you to him
batters.
after the game, Clark.
Thank you. Sorry, Dad. Got tongue-tied. That's the one thing Dayton Lane has done. He has hit a lot of batters in advantage counts. This one comes with 2 outs. Still the tying run stays in the dugout, and Marcus McDaniel, the designated hitter, steps in. He's 1 for 2, excuse me. Strike called.
It's a big at-bat here because if Dayton can get out of it facing McDaniel here, that's going to bring 7, 8, 9 up in the bottom of the 9th for Neosho.
Ground ball off the glove of...
How about that?
And right to the second baseman, Sartori. A fielder's choice routine, 1 to 4.
1-4 unassisted.
And the inning is over. Nothing for Neosho County in the 8th. We head to the 9th, 7-3 Blue Dragons. Neosho County head coach Steve Murray goes to the bullpen and brings in freshman right-hander Nick Wooler. Making his 13th appearance, no record in 5 saves, 3.44 ERA. Wooler's worked 18 in the 3rd innings, 19 hits allowed, 7 earned runs, 16 strikeouts, and 5 walks.
I tried to steal an assist from Dayton in that last half inning. That chopper over the mound caught the end of his glove and took Logan Sartori right to the bag where he recorded the force out. And we were debating, off air between half innings that is it right he should get an assist for that when it just flipped off the end of the glove. But we're happy to give him one to get out of the inning.
Bobby Morgenson, Dylan Nedved, Zach Baxley, middle third of the Dragon order here in the 9th. Hutchinson leading 7-3. A big 3-run 8th inning answered Neosho County's 3-run 7th to rebuild Hutchinson's 4-run lead. Ball 1 to Bob, who's 1 for 3 now. A single in the 4th, walked and hit into a double play his last time up, and he's up in the count here on Wooler. 2 balls and nothing. Now 3-0. Right now, new pitcher in the game, you just keep the bat on the shoulder until he throws a strike. It's always been my philosophy, the old school philosophy. 4-pitch walk to start the 9th.
Really didn't give him much to consider chasing there.
That for Bobby, who's walked twice today. Let me find it here. That is number 80. He is number 2 all-time in walks, his 80th career walk. And it's ball 1 to Nedved, 5 in a row out of the zone for Wooler. Ball 6.
Freshmen will learn how to wear those pitches, won't they, Carp?
Yes, they should. They ought to know by now.
It's been a full season. I was just going to comment, it's all quiet in both bullpens, and as I do, they send a catcher and pitcher down to the Neosho pen to start getting loose.
It's game number 58. The Blue Dragon freshman ought to know how to wear a pitch. But then again, Julian Ripp ducked out of the way of that one.
It's true. And he's played twice that many games.
I mean, that should cost him something in the kangaroo court.
Yes.
If they have a kangaroo court.
Yeah, the Blue Dragon way, as we refer to it.
7 in a row out of the zone from Wooler. Ball 3 to Nedved. Dragons wouldn't mind tacking a few more on here and try to build some momentum going forward. 8 pitches out of the zone to start the 9th. Morgenson and Nedved both walk. Now I'll bring up Zach Baxley, who doubled his last time up. Don't see any movement out of the Neosho dugout just yet. No. Zach, his last time up, led off with a double and scored. He's 1 for 4.
They're giving a sign to the bullpen to get going and get going in a hurry.
Right now the Panthers on the out there with a couple of players stalling for time. That was catcher Gage Garrison and Cole Cruz, or Cole around to the shortstop. Cole Cruz? Wow.
How about Cruz? Cruz
on. That's it. That's God.
You've got some Salt Hawk football on your mind.
Evidently I do. Well, yeah, long-time Hutchinson resident. They kind of stick in there. And now, on the 9th pitch of the inning, Baxley hit right in the helmet to load the bases. And now we're going to see if Bax is okay. Going forward, this could be critical. Ryan Schmidt runs out quick. Toby Corneo runs up to check him. Sports medicine hasn't come out yet, but now
they're going to
Amanda Beadle has just been called out. So now Morgenson at third, Nedved at second, Baxley at first, Julian Ripp the batter, and the Dragons can really drop a big bomb on the Panthers here in the 9th. Bases loaded, nobody out.
You know, and you like to see that, and Beadle was on her way out, Amanda was, but the umpire is the one who was really calling for that. Because it hit him in the helmet, they wanted to make sure that they run him through the concussion protocol, make sure everything's fine.
So now Julian Ripp, a chance to really blow this thing open. Ripp walked and scored. That would be an important piece of equipment for the pitcher to use, the ball. He didn't have one out there. He's standing there with no baseball.
People are waiting for him to pitch.
There's a strike on pitch number 10, the first one of the inning for Dick Wohlers. Julian scored a couple times. Called strike and nothing in 2.
Now, how do you feel if you're Julian? You come up to the plate and the guy's just missed on 9 straight. So you're going up there with the bat on your shoulder, and he comes at you, strike.
0-2 to Ripp. Wohlers pitch. Curveball hit hard, but foul just outside of third.
That wasn't foul by much.
That probably wouldn't have cleared the bases, but would have scored too. Been funny to see Bax try to make it all the way around from first. Dragons about hitting Neosho 12-6. Committed the only error of the game. The pitch. Little check swinger to the right side, and it's booted by the second baseman, and everybody's going to be safe. Coming down the line to score is Morgenson, and it's 8-3. It'll be an RBI. First error of the game for the Panthers.
That was an excuse me swing by Julian. But it got the job done, and it probably, going the opposite way, probably put enough English on it, and it hits that turf and made it a difficult play for Fox.
Now Scotty Warburton takes one high and tight. 4 straight have reached here in the inning, none of them by a base hit. 2 walks, a hit batsman, and an error. 8-3 Hutch. There's a strike at the letters. The pitch. Upstairs. Counted. Scoreboard's got 2-0. Didn't he? Oh, it is 3-0. I thought he called a strike. I heard him say something. Usually an umpire won't say anything, but it's now 3-0 to Wolverton.
All right.
Another pitch out of the zone that will force in a run.
So after filling the zone with strikes to Rip, he now goes 3-0 quickly, as he did to Morgenson and Nedved.
Scott takes a strike at the knees. 76-mile-an-hour pitch. I think Wohler was just trying to get it in there. 3-1 pitch. Misses high ball 4. Nedved comes down to line the score, and it's 9-3 Blue Dragons.
That'll bring a visit to the mound out of the Neosho bullpen, or dugout, excuse me.
So Nick Wohlers will not retire a batter, assuming that the pitching change is made. Morgenson's run now becomes earned.
They've already made the calls, so he's bringing in an arm from the pen.
We'll tell you about the new Neosho pitcher after this break.
Neosho makes a call to the pen. Freshman Alex DeBay from Leawood, Kansas comes in. His 18th appearance of the year, all of them in relief. 4-0 record, 3.74 ERA.
Ryan.
17 earned runs, 4 of those by virtue of the long ball.
Ryan Moritz has been all or nothing today. 2 singles, 2 strikeouts, both looking. 2 for 4 stepping up here with the bases loaded, nobody out. 2 already across in the ninth. Hutchinson leading 9-3.
Well, there is a pattern that's developed with Moritz today. It's single, strikeout looking, single, strikeout looking.
Hey, you like your chances.
So what do you got here?
We follow the pattern. It's a single.
Let's go with base hit. We'll take more than a single even.
You bet. Ball 2 now to Moritz.
Ryan, the 6th batter this inning for Hutchinson. Counting the ball that Ritt put in play, only 4 as it goes 3-0. Only 4 of those pitches have found the strike zone.
Dragons have not had a hit yet. Moritz is the 6th batter. Nobody out, and the bases are loaded.
And they've got 2 across already. And now more activity heading down to the Neosho pen.
There's the cripple to Moritz. Obviously taking all the way. Strike on the inside corner, 3-1.
How hard is it when you're the batter and 3-0, you know you're taking and you know it's a fastball right down the middle?
It's painful, but you don't want to get popped by the coach. High ball 4, and another run will come home. Baxley travels down to step on the plate. The 3rd run of the inning, 4th walk of the inning for Neosho pitching. There's also been a hit batsman and an error.
This is not who Neosho wants to see coming to the plate. Schaefer with 3 base hits in his last 3 plate appearances, all of them hard hit balls.
3 RBIs, and he lines one to right field. This could get 2 in. 1 run scores, 2 run scores. They're going to wave Moritz. Here comes the throw. There will be no throw. A 3-run double for Schaefer, career high 6 RBIs. And the Dragons lead it now 13-3. Brock Schaefer, a career high 6 RBIs now. First pitch swinging. And now the Dragons have broken this one open. Here's Sartori. Strike 1 to Logan.
Talked about how important it was for Hutch to answer those 3 Neosho runs that they scored in the bottom of the 7th and made it a 4-3 game. And they've answered that in great fashion by scoring 9 unanswered to now lead at 13-3.
Logan hits one high and deep to left. This has a chance. It's high off the fence. waiting to see if he was going to catch it with Schaefer. He's being waved. He will score, and it's 14-3. It's a 7-run ninth inning for Hutchinson. Sartori just missed a home run.
Back-to-back doubles. Makes it an 11-run Blue Dragon advantage. And Wyatt Divis is the 9th hitter of the inning for Hutchinson. Still, nobody out.
I need to make a quick look, see where that 6 RBIs in a single game sits. So the pitch to Divis, upstairs, ball 1. It's a 7-run inning. Well, we'd said earlier today the Dragon Bats needed to wake up. Well, I think they got the wake-up call.
I would say you're right, and they've responded in great fashion. And what's key and what you have to like is now with 10 runs plated so far in the last 2 innings, to carry this momentum forward. Finish this one off today, and then carry this momentum forward into tomorrow morning.
They will face a Jayhawk West opponent no matter what. Big swing by Div, he fouls it off. It'll be Seward County or Barton at 10 a.m. tomorrow.
That was the second consecutive double for Sartori. He dropped one into shallow right in his last at bat. Now he took this one off the fence and left.
The pitch. Foul off again. All right. Again, 6 RBIs for Brock Schaefer. 4 Dragons have had 7. Stuart Hoover in 2008, Jake Eck in 2013, Quentin Crandall and Josh Williams both in 15. Brock now becomes the 8th Blue Dragon. Let me check that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 9th Blue Dragon with 6. Last time somebody had 6 RBIs in the game, Caden Doge 2 years ago against Garden City. 1-2 now to Wyatt Divis. The pitch. A little bit low, 2-2.
Div had fouled off 3 consecutive pitches. All 3 of those foul balls to the third base side, which just shows, how prolific he is at going opposite way, and that's what he's thinking in every approach.
The pitch in the dirt. Bounces straight up for the catcher, Garrison. It's a ball and the count full, 3-2. Folks, there's still nobody out. Divis is the 9th batter of the inning, and there has not been one Dragon retired. 3-2 pitch. That's roped to center
There
field.
still hasn't been.
That's going to the gap, rounding third, and scoring with ease is Sartori. Divis will pull into second. 9 straight have reached, 8 have scored. And the Dragons have completely taken this game under control. Now 15-3.
Third consecutive double for Hutchinson. And, we can pick on Div because we've been spending 2 years with him. Great kid. And he's had some hamstring issues this year, but what he did right there, he did an amazing job of turning a triple into a double. But you understand it with the hamstring issues he's had.
Completely,
That was smart of him not to get caught up in the moment.
Neosho County is making another pitching change. We'll be back after this break. Blaine Half, a freshman, comes into the game. 4th pitcher of the inning. I take that back. 3rd pitcher of the inning. Wooler didn't retire a batter in the 5 he faced. DeBay didn't retire a batter in the 4 he faced. Again, the Dragons have batted around. No outs yet in the inning and 8 already across. And Wyatt Divis at second base. This inning is keeping Denny plenty busy in Twitter.
Say it's, and I'm happy to keep busy tweeting like this.
You had to tweet that 20-run Butler game last year at Detter, so there wasn't much to tweet there, though.
I think I was on Twitter for the 52-run Nyack adventure we had earlier this year, 28-24 Blue Dragon victory.
Yes.
And that was a baseball game, folks, not a football game. Scorecard looks pretty nice with all those filled-in diamonds so far this inning.
Yeah. So half on for the 12th time, a 5-1 record and a 2.72 ERA. He will face Bobby Morgenson, who hits for the second time in the inning. This all started with a leadoff walk to Bob. He smokes one back in a row for a base hit. Davis will be sent and will score. It's a 9-run inning, and it's 16-3. What you love, Denny, is just the approach. Nobody's trying to kill the baseball. They're just taking it right where it's pitched and converting.
You know, we're seeing balls going the opposite way, and again, that's another one straight back up the middle. You've got to love that hitting approach that the Blue Dragons have implemented today. And that's 3 for Bob that have gone straight back up the middle. 1 he was retired on. 1 he caught the pitcher in the backside and reached, and then that sharp single up the middle.
Dylan Nedved swings and misses. He walked as well. The second batter of this 9th inning. Pitch taken low for a ball. It's 1-1. Dylan today is 2 for 4, with a walk, and now he's down on the count 1-2. Nine runs in the inning and still nobody retired. The pitch. Outside for a ball. Here's a question for Ryan Schmidt to think about, and there is somebody in the pen. Now the Dragons have this 13-run lead. You probably don't run Dayton Lane back out for the 9th. Here's a shot up the middle that gets through for a hit.
All right, Mr. Encyclopedia Britannica of Blue Dragon baseball. What's the record for most consecutive batters to reach? Because we're at 11.
I actually have that answer. It is 12.
Why does that not shock me? It's 12. It's 12.
And look, here's the thing. That came with 2 out. Now to start an inning, I can remember a lot of 7s and 8s. But in 2001, Dragons scored 10 runs with 2 outs and 12 straight reached.
We got a pinch hitter coming up here, Carp.
Ryan Steckline will pinch hit for Zach Baxley. And he takes a strike.
No pressure, Rhino, but we've had 11 in a row reach.
Steckline on the year hitting .204 with 10 hits, 4 home runs, and 13 RBIs. Swings and misses.
If he breaks that streak, his mother's going to be a lot harder on him than his father will be.
0-2 to Rhino. Runners at first and the second. The pitch. Way high. That 2-out Dodge City game was still one of the darndest things. Because that's where the legend of the rally train was born. First 2 batters were hit meat ground balls. It was 2 outs and nobody on. The rally train hits the left field foul pole, and it took forever. And just as it ends, Dragons completed a 10-run stretch with 2 outs. 12 batters or 12 in a row had reached. Now it's 1-2 to Steckline.
$17 hits for the Blue Dragons so far.
Most in the postseason. Steckline swings and misses, and there's out number 1. We'll find out tomorrow just how hard his mother is on him, and the Bronx cheer from the Neosho fans. Now Julian Ripp. This Ripp kind of had the at-bat that broke this thing open. He had a swing to the right side that second baseman Tanner Fox misplayed the hop, and then the Dragons jumped all over the mistake.
Yeah, that at bat, the bases were loaded and there was nobody out. It wasn't gonna be a double play, but you had to know they thought we're gonna get one, we're gonna let 1 run score, and then we'll we'll work our way out of this inning. And here we are 9 runs later.
The pitch. Not sure where it missed, but it's called the ball, and it's 2-0. Julian today, still looking for his first hit.
Matt Hopkins works his way back to the Blue Dragon dugout after getting loose.
That's 3-0 to Julian.
Umpire's getting some encouragement now from the Neosho faithful.
Coming out after this one, winners bracket semifinal number 1, Seward County and Barton, and Rip walks to load the bases once again. Rip, the 13th batter of the inning. Just 1 out, and Scott Wolverton will hit. Wolvie had a bases-loaded walk. He has 3 RBIs on the afternoon. Kind of wonder what would happen if they got back around to Schaefer. They're a couple batters away from that. He might have a chance to break a school record.
He may. You said 7 ribbies is the record?
Yes, set by 4 people.
He's sitting on 6 right now.
He's one of 9 with 6. Ball 1 to Wolverton. A little bit low ball, too. I mean, since we're in the neighborhood, you might as well give him the chance.
I would, yeah. He does have a helmet on down there in the dugout, so he's expecting to go up if presented the opportunity.
3-0 now to Wolverton. Ryan Moritz waits on deck. Then the aforementioned Brock Schaefer.
And don't get me wrong, Schaef's 6 ribbies have been critical, but the 2 from Scotty to start this off rank right up there with Brock's, because it was scoreless at the time, 2 outs. We've talked about how Scotty had been struggling a little bit at the plate, and he just hit a laser up the middle to bring home a pair.
3-1 now to Wolverton, taking all the way. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Now the payoff pitch is lifted high to center field. Pretty well hit. Beats going back. Slowing down now. Makes the catch just short of the track. Tagging and scoring is Morgenson. It's a 10-run inning. The first 10-run inning the Blue Dragons have had since Garden City's 10th inning last year. So a sac fly for Wolvie. Now 2 outs for Ryan Moritz.
Nedved moved up to third on the fly out as well.
Moritz had a bases-loaded walk, 2 for 4. So since the walk doesn't count as an official time of a bat, is the pattern still on? So he's still due for an RBI single.
Correct.
Runners at the corners, 2 away, 10 across here in the 9th.
Schaefer is on deck, so if Moritz can get on.
Moritz hits one high and fairly deep to left. This has got a chance. Gone! Ryan Moritz hits one over the scoreboard. A 3-run shot, and for the 5th time this year, the Blue Dragons have hit 20. Moritz with his second, check that hit, second home run of the year. RBIs 24, 25, and 26. Now Schaef's going to have to hit a home run to tie the record.
I thought that was a fly out to left center when it left the bat. And Schaef was going for that home run right there.
13 runs in the inning. Hold on just a moment. I'm going to see where that sits.
16th Blue Dragon to come to the plate here in the top of the 9th.
That's knocked down by the pitcher. Fire it across in time, and the Dragons are done. But what an inning. It's 13 runs on only 6 hits. There was 1 error and nobody left on. We head to the home half of the 9th. 20-3 Blue Dragons. Good.
Steve Carpenter doing some accounting and tabulating, getting things straightened out in the book as we get ready to head to the bottom of the ninth. The Blue Dragons send 16 to the plate in the top of the ninth. 13 score. And lead this one now 20-3 as Neosho comes to bat.
That 13-run inning, second largest, or ties for the second largest in Blue Dragon history. Pitch outside, ball 1 to Hunter LeMunyon.
Pinch hitter for the Panthers.
Here's a strike. 2 years in that wild Independence series at Hobart Debtor Field postseason, the Dragons had a 13-run second inning. That was in the first game. Foul tipped into the glove of Scott Warburton, and it's 1-2.
What did we trail in that game?
No, that was game one. We dominated game one, but we were down 8-0 in game 3. And then the wildness ensued. Breaking pitch just misses inside, and it's 2-2. Matt Hopkins pitched a scoreless inning yesterday against Cali. Second pitch here in Wichita, 1-1 with an 8.26 ERA. Pitch slice foul. 21st appearance of the year, 19th in relief. Hopkins, 28 2/3 innings, 38 hits, 34 runs, 26 earned, 36 strikeouts, and 24 walks. 309 batting average.
Ball's coming back out onto the field. You talked about that earlier, how you never know where it's going to come from. And they're looking at the dugout like somebody threw it out there, and it either ricocheted back onto the field or somebody threw it from the crowd, not expecting it to get to the field.
The pitch just missed inside. Well, the 4 o'clock game will not start at 4 o'clock. We're getting paid back for those 4 quick games yesterday. I walked out of here at 10:30. That's never happened. Pitch pop foul out of play.
You may need to put a request in that they serve breakfast in the media room before tonight's over, because you've got a few hours ahead of you.
Yes, I will be trying to write during the next game. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Hopkins strikes out LeMunyon, 1 away here in the 9th.
4 o'clock game's going to be hard-pressed to start much before 5 as we're approaching 4:15.
This game started right at 1:30, so we're at 2 hours and 40 minutes. This is now the longest game of the tournament in terms of elapsed time. Joe Mondragon, the batter. He's 0 for 3, a couple of strikeouts and a ground out. Ground ball right to Sartori. Picks it on the short half, underhand, flipped the steck line, 2 away.
This is where Matty ran into a little bit of problem yesterday. He came in, got 2 quick outs, and then did they load him or did they get 2 on?
They got 2 on.
They got 2 on, and then he induced a ground out to the right side to end it, but not after a little bit of a pep talk from Coach Ryan Schmidt.
After Ken Richards' last at bat as he gets plunked with the pitch here. His RBI single in the 7th made it 4-3.
That was a pinch hitter, Carp.
Oh, that was a pinch hitter.
That was Adam. Let me get my roster here. Adam, I'm gonna screw this one up. Thies or Tice, and I'll just apologize.
It's actually Tice.
Tice.
Now Cruz Aranda takes a strike. That one's foul off. 1-1 to Aranda.
Blue Dragons close this one out. We'll be back in action 10 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Could be a doubleheader.
Mother's Day, gentlemen. So if you're tuned in and listening, Mother's Day, you've got a few hours left.
Strike call, and now the Panthers down to their final strike. And I know Tina's listening in. Happy Mother's Day once again from Wichita. This will be the 15th straight year we've missed on Mother's Day. Still love you, though. 31 years of marriage. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and there's the ball game. The Dragons' season remains alive. They reached 20 runs for the 5th time this year, and a 13-run 9th inning broke it open. Denny and I will wrap it up right after this break. Welcome back to Lawrence-Dumont Stadium in Wichita, everybody. Steve Carpenter and Denny Steckline with you with the Blue Dragon postgame show. Season's still alive. Hutchinson steps up big time. The Bats wake up. 20-3 your final. Neosho County goes home. They're the second team to go home, joining the Colby Trojans. And we said it in the pregame, Denny. The Bats had to wake up. And kind of starting with Scott Warburton's 2-out, 2-run single in the fourth, those Bats indeed did.
They did, and, they took the first 3 innings off, a couple of base hits here and there, but nothing they could really string together, and we talked about the importance of that. And Scotty's big base hit in the top of the fourth to break it open and put Hutch on top 2-0. Then they kind of went quiet a little bit. We had a couple of single runs in the fifth and the sixth, but holy cow, after Neosho answered with 3 in the bottom of the seventh to make it a 1-run ball game. We talked about the importance of answering that, and I would say they answered it in pretty good fashion by putting 3 on the board in top of the eighth and then 13 in the top of the ninth. And looking back at that top of the ninth again, the first 11 Blue Dragons to come to the plate all reached. Those same 11 all scored, which I'm anxious to hear if that's the best start to an inning we've ever had.
I can't remember. I may have to look back at that Independence first game. I guess the inning was the second inning, that 13-run inning that this game tied. I can't, in 23 years, I can't think of a better start to a game or to an inning than that one. Again, that Dodge City inning, there was 2 outs in the inning when that 10 runs scored.
Yeah, and we've talked a lot about the offense, but we've got to tip our hats to Wyatt Divis. This is the second, not just quality start, but high quality start by Div. Going 6+ scoreless. Ran out of gas in the seventh when Neosho plated those 3, but Dayton Lane comes in, closes the door there, and then Matty Hopkins comes in for the bottom of the ninth and gets the job done. So we live to play another day.
Man, when you're coming from behind or coming out of the loser's bracket, that's all you can do. Win to win the next one. Again, it's going to take 6 wins in a row to get to Grand Junction now for Hutchinson. But you can't get to the 6 without number 1, and the Blue Dragons did it today. Here are the totals for the just completed ball game for the 37-21 Blue Dragons. 20 runs, 18 hits, 1 error, 8 left on. For the 40-20 Neosho County Panthers, 3 runs, 6 hits, 1 error, 7 left on. Wyatt Divis, the winning pitcher. He's now 5-1. Joe Todd takes the loss, 4-4. Time of ball game, 2 hours and 44 minutes. And the Blue Dragons stay alive. Real quickly offensively, let me pull up that box score. Brock Schaefer, 6 RBIs today. That's ties for 5th most. He's the 9th Blue Dragon to have 6 and the 13th Blue Dragon to have 6 or more in team history. Schaefer goes 4 for 6, 3 runs scored, 2 doubles, a home run, and 6 RBIs to lead the way. Logan Sartori, 3 hits with a pair of doubles and 3 driven in. Dylan Nedved, 3 for 5. 3 for 5 for Ryan Moritz with 4 RBIs. Moritz and Wolverton drive in 4 runs each. Logan Sartori drives in 3. And Bobby Morgenson was a very quiet 2 for 4 with 3 runs scored and 1 RBI and 2 walks. Wyatt Divis, the winning pitcher, goes 6 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks. Dayton Lane just 1 hit and 2 strikeouts in an inning and 2/3, and Matt Hopkins finishes it up with a pair of strikeouts. And the Blue Dragons live to play another day. So we'll be back on the air tomorrow morning, 9:50 a.m., hopefully the first of 2. If the Blue Dragons win tomorrow, they will play again tomorrow night at 7. And if that doesn't make anything more crazy, they would have to win 2 more on Monday to force the IF championship game on Tuesday. So they play 5 games in 3 days to get to Grand Junction.
Well, I don't know about you, but I plan on being here Monday to call some Blue Dragon baseball.
I'm with you. I mean, I got to stay, so the team might as well stay with me.
Yeah, I'd like to come over and hang out with you.
Well, that's going to do it. My thanks to Denny Steckline. Thanks to Brandon and Cherie Sams for helping us out today. I think we get you guys tomorrow, too? All right. We'll be back with you again at 9:50 a.m. Again, the Blue Dragons stay alive, eliminating Neosho County from the Region 6 Central District Tournament. 20-3 your score. We'll talk to you again tomorrow morning at 9:50 a.m. Until then, for the entire Blue Dragon Sports Network crew, Steve Carpenter from Lawrence-Dumont Stadium. So long, everybody.